Welcome to the show. That's kind of becoming a thing, isn't it? Welcome, everyone. Yeah, before Frederic gets in here, Frederic Guimont, I don't know his trailer. I would be, I would not put that trailer. People can't pronounce your name. That's just bad look. Anyway, Omer Glitch in the house. Hello, people of the world. He says, Shadow Hawk will be in here momentarily. Yeah, so before he gets here, I'll just show you the last four sketch cards I've been working on. Uh, you may have seen them already if you watch the channel. If not, hey, hey Carrie. Hope you're having a lovely day. The dark ones here did these over on Topicless. This one here, that's a relatively new concept, yet it's something I've been working on for a while. The director finally got his done, and final look, because his neck was too long, so I had to modify it a little bit there. You got to look at those things. Sometimes you don't see them at the time. I want to put a turtleneck on him. Get your Guimont on. Okay. Your Guimont, whatever. Bags there, another one. And the one I did on the Hump Day show last night, didn't get to stay that long. I was tired. Was Ladybug. So we got the ladies in there, Uh, check. I have not done that today. Well, I did earlier. You say what? Say what? Say who we say all right. Say love me, love me, love me. Undercover angel, answer to my prayers. No, not you, Carrie. I know you're an angel, but no, that's just a song kind of, got triggered. Beautiful song from back in the day. uh no, nothing from the printers. But she did say, I think it was, let's see, yesterday, the cards would be done by this week. So, uh, just another look if you didn't get to see it. Do, 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 do. There we go. There we go. Get to the right thing. And might as well go in the reverse order this time. There we go, which is the correct order, actually. There we go. So promo card number 3. If you got the ash can, you got the other 2 cards, and yeah, Carrie, I'll have to remember to send you with your ash can because I told you I'd give you an ash can. Uh, there, let's make it as big as it possibly can be. On my way to work, Ryan says, thanks for keeping me company. Laugh out loud. Absolutely. Should we call Frederic? No, he will be on. He will be on Shadowhawk. He said I'll be there momentarily. Armored Flyer here. Yeah, I'll have to remember to send you everything. I'm sure I will, Carrie. You the magnets, the gift, the trading cards, the first promo trading cards, and of course your fan club card, your members card. But this is continuing the numbering from the Ashcan promo card 3. These are going to be very limited, very, very, very limited. Here's the back design, like on the first, so we didn't change that. And then there we go. There's bystander card, promo card 4. So I should probably go pick those up tomorrow. Tomorrow. We'll start the day tomorrow. It was a joke, Goopball. Drop the link, please. I did over on Instagram. Do you need it in the chat? Just let me know. I'll be very accommodating. But yeah, the link, it was sent to you before I even started the show. Goofball. Call me a goofball. Look at that. Joke. It's a joke. Well, some of these creators, and especially Canadian, creators, not hating, just saying they might be wrapped up in a few things. Read the chat. Instagram not working. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It bypassed me. I was on another screen. I was trying to show content. My bad. Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. Don't hate on me. It's only Thursday. Have mercy. I've been wearing the same underwear since Thursday. Great line from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Buried with the Monkey Funky Tut. Great movie. One of my favorite comedies. A good thing, a good movie to watch for Thanksgiving. It really is a Thanksgiving movie. But you could watch it for Christmas. I mean, any time of the year, really. So hopefully that works for you. The StreamYard link there in the chat, Shadowhawk. Hopefully that'll work for you. I'll be if I'm going to enter Dr. Mask Retro Elixirs contest, I better get with it. Because I've only got to the 10th is the cutoff. So better come up with something. Dr. Mask Retro Elixir launches his book, Besprinkled with Blood, his Edgar Allan Poe book, the 12th, which is Wednesday.
Hey.
Welcome, Frederic.
Hey, Rex. Thanks for having me, man. Sorry I'm late.
Frederic and friend.
Yes.
Who's this?
These are little creatures that tend to come in front of the camera for attention from time to time.
Creatures of the night, yes.
That's right.
You have cats in Canada. Blurry. There is hope for America. I don't know what that means, but
there's a small bit of hope.
Yeah, small bit of hope.
Here.
Yeah.
Camera.
You coming in crystal clear here. It may just be me. Yeah,
nice.
Who is your friend here? What have we got?
So
a name?
This is a Cornish Rex. So he's a black cat that kind of behaves a little bit like a dog. Like they're super dependent on affection, and now it's just mealtime, so super hungry.
Anybody that has Rex in their meal, I mean in their name, or their meal, is friends with me. Almost looks purple on camera.
It's got very short hair. It's kind of wavy a little bit. They're very close to those, Egyptian cats that have no fur. Except this one has just very, very small fur.
I can see whiskers, the resemblance.
Yeah, he's got also like whiskers that look all broken, and like I have people come over and think I torture my cats. Like, why are you cutting its whiskers off? It's like, no, he just really has funky whiskers naturally, right?
I've done that too, but yeah, it's been a while since I've had a cat. Omen in the house. Hail to you, Rex. Hail to you, Frederic. Hail to the kitty. Hail to the chat. So covering all the bases. Fred looks like he's in 4K. Omer says.
I used to go with the computer camera, and it was kind of fuzzy, right, potato quality. And I was like, I've got a really good camera that I use on my artboard, so I'm using that one, and it's giving me the best image.
Yeah. Well, I'll try not to grill you too bad. This is not our first interview, but about your project and about you, and we've
grill away, my friend. I'm looking forward to it. Ask any question you got.
All right. Social security number.
I'm not saying I'm going to answer them.
I'm not even sure they have those up in Canada. It's just say we don't have those. He's coming in sexy, drinking his red wine. Omer says.
That's my French nature. You can't take the Frenchman out of the Canadian.
Yeah.
So just having a little bit of red wine with my meal. Just got done eating. That's why I'm late a little bit. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. Don't rush it. They always said, chew your meal up really well. It helps your body break it down and get the maximum nutrients. And I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of get if my parents had said that, I wouldn't have gulped everything, Now I actually chewed my meals but meals are to be savored, right? I mean, that's a French tradition, French
Yeah.
cuisine, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a pleasure of life. You should, take the time to enjoy it. It's the end of the
absolutely.
day usually.
And
And
family time. I mean, there's no more
mhm.
intimate family time than sitting down with others at a table. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's what Thanksgiving, which is coming up at the end of the meal here, end of the meal. See, I can't even speak today. End of the month. Uh, I've got meal. Meal keeps coming out.
Yeah,
Meal,
well,
meal, meal.
we've already had our Thanksgiving a couple of
Have you?
weeks ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
Canada's different time than
And
US,
what do
but
you call that? What do you call that?
we also call it Thanksgiving. It's just different dates.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That was on the 13th, right? Columbus Day for us, October the 13th.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Columbus Day here in
Hello,
America.
Frederic.
Hello,
Hey,
Shadowhawk.
Shadowhawk.
Hey, I managed to get in. I just said one more try. If it doesn't work, I'm not even messing with it, and it let me in. So,
Well, you
woohoo!
better ask your
Nice.
questions quick, Shadowhawk,
Nice
before
to
you
finally
crap
meet you,
out on
Frederic. I've been seeing you making the
Likewise.
rounds, my friend. The Ratel looks great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I just realized
I
I
have
forgot.
questions, but we can get into that.
Yeah, I just have to do one quick thing before the computer overheats. So if you'll excuse me
Oh,
for just 2 seconds, I'll be right
Sure.
back in one quick second. Sorry about that.
gotta get an ice bath for his computer.
Ice pack, exactly.
I will talk with my co-host for a moment then. How's it going, Shadowhawk?
Better now, I guess, since I was
Yeah.
able to get on stream. I was kind of frustrated there for a few minutes.
No, I know. Yeah, it's frustrating when
I don't know what is
things.
going on with StreamYard lately, dude. It's like I don't know, strange days.
Okay,
Yeah, well, I
I'm
mean,
back.
they keep throwing in upgrades that nobody asked for. You know.
Well, yeah, that too.
I think it's the
Carrie,
dust accumulation there.
Carrie is a multilingual person. She
Oh,
says, "Can you
nice.
say something in French for educational purposes?" And thirsty women laugh out loud.
Oui,
Just
bien sûr,
asking
mon
for
ange gothique. Alors, bienvenue ce soir à l'émission de Rex. Nous allons parler de Ratel et nous allons voir de la bande dessinée avec des belles couleurs et des belles formes. J'espère que vous allez apprécier l'émission ce soir.
Damn, Carrie's in a puddle.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, wow, that's music to my ears. Yeah, she speaks some French and some other
She just slid
languages.
off the couch like a melted pat of butter.
You know, if I would change anything, it would probably in American history. I mean, in American education here in America, it would be to learn more about our history and especially our founding. But beyond that, probably learning more languages. You know, that would be almost mandatory to just
Yeah.
because you're more your mind is more supple, more impressionable when you're younger, able to
Yeah.
pick up things, I think, quicker.
Well,
Yeah,
also, I mean, everybody knew that as time went on, communications were going to improve. The world was just going to get smaller. It's not going to get bigger.
Mhm.
So it only
yeah, and
behooves you to know at least a little bit of some foreign language, foreign to you.
Right.
and
Whatever
we
country
we
you're
also encode our experiences of life in language. And when you know just one language, you think it's the only way to perceive things. When you know a second language, wow, there's this whole way of looking at the world that's different, structurally speaking.
Yeah.
And when you have that realization, it kind of expands your mind, regardless of which language you learn. So
So,
learning
Frederic,
more
you're
than one.
French Canadian, I'm guessing? You're not in France, are you?
No, I'm not in France. French
Oh,
Canadian here. Yeah.
French Canadian. Okay.
I'm in
Very nice.
Quebec, which is like
Our
New
friendly
York, New
neighbors
York.
to the north. I love
That's
that.
right. Yeah. I've been down to the U.S. Many times. I mean, especially New York is almost a neighbor, right? When I lived in Montreal, like New York was 6-hour drive away. Here it's now 9 hours or something like that. So it's not too far off,
Yeah, when I was late teens, early 20s, we used to drive up. I'm right outside Chicago, so I could just drive straight up north for a couple
Your
hours
friend
across the
Chris
border.
Fisk
go
in the
party
house.
for
Hey, Chris.
I
Hey,
think
Chris,
is it
how's it
Montreal
going?
right there that's over the top of.
Yep. Montreal's
Yeah,
just across because Chicago is just the other side of the Great Lakes. We're basically, facing each other across the lakes,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, from what I remember, a very fun place. I don't remember much.
I got to say, Chris Fisk is an overperformer. He's just fulfilled his campaign, and like Frederic, he's an overperformer with that French. Carrie was in a puddle. I think Omer melted like ice cream on a hot summer day. Carrie says, "I need to go to the kitchen. I don't think I can walk just yet."
Oh, damn, girl.
Yeah. But yeah, Chris put together a beautiful campaign. A lot of people going, "Wow, stunner!"
Yeah, I saw that.
Overachiever.
I missed that campaign, and
which one was Chris's campaign?
I regret it every day now.
Infinite Chronicles,
Infinite Tale, yeah.
Infinite Tale, yeah. I like that one. Yeah. Chris
he's
good.
He had especially like I saw that Aaron of Immortal Rising bought the big box, and it's like a treasure chest, man. It's just like you got cards, you got foil cards, he even had the list of all the YouTube channels he went on to promote his campaign as well. So, he really gives credit where credit is due. So shout out to you, Chris, man. I really appreciate that. And I won't miss the next one. I promise you that. Sorry,
I think, did they do a box previously in Infinite Tale Chronicles? I've got one here on my bookshelf, actually. So they must have, unless this is just is this a refresh or a reboot?
Well, I mean, there's one and there's two. He just fulfilled two, and he says Infinite Tale Chronicles #2 will be available on Amazon this Wednesday.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
But yeah, I got the box set of the first one. So.
Yeah. Well, you remember I mean, we've interviewed Chris a couple times, at least.
Oh yeah.
We interviewed him for #2.
So
right at the tail end.
So many people, I just kind of lose track sometimes.
He's a great guest. I've had him on my show as well. Yeah.
We interviewed him, I think maybe just as the campaign had closed, or maybe right after it closed, and he was going to begin fulfillment, or it was right before he closed. I can't quite remember, but it was towards the tail end of his current campaign that he's fulfilled for everyone.
Okay. Yeah, because it wasn't that long ago, was it? The last time we had him on.
No. So what is a good meal for you, Frederic? What is one of your favorite things to eat? Maybe your top 3 meals that you like to have on a.
Well, what I eat most often is just a good steak, right, cooked on the stove. Because usually I'm just at the artboard all day, and the only thing that gets me up from the artboard is just like the stomach growling, like, "Oh, you have to eat now or you're gonna die." Kind of thing. It's like, can't stand it anymore. It's time to eat. So that'll get me going. But of course, the steak is just kind of like very practical. So you get fed and then you get back to work.
What do you like? Medium rare, raw? Straight off the cow? No, you said oven. So
no, nothing that bad. I kind of like medium, especially since here in Canada, I'm just making sure it's well cooked just in case. But I mean, if like sometimes I just get a good you
got to make sure that kangaroo doesn't hop off the oven.
That's Australia. Yeah, you're mixing Canada.
Well, they say most 80% of the beef. I mean, they say beef, here in America, and and I know you're saying steak, but kangaroo is a big part of that. Here in America, we probably eat kangaroo and didn't even know it.
The Canadian beef industry, because it makes it sound like Frederic doesn't really trust them.
No, I don't. I get AAA steak just to make sure that it's good quality, because I don't trust anything anymore. I stopped trusting a while back.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's one of the most frustrating things for me is you can't trust anything anymore. Everybody's so cynical. You don't know what the truth is. Well, I think actually people want the truth and honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's handing it out. Everyone's.
When they started trying to say that eggs were terrible for you,
Yeah, they say
and all this.
cholesterol was bad for you, and now
Yeah,
turns out it
and they didn't
prevents
understand
cancer.
there was
You know,
good
allegedly.
cholesterol and bad cholesterol until like 20 years later.
And
It's
the
like,
food
you know
pyramid
what?
for
Get
I
out of
don't know how long, 50,
Yeah,
60, 80
turns out that's
years.
a pyramid scheme as well.
Now they
you know?
say it's bad for you. It's
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah,
You know?
God, look, just like all of a sudden out of nowhere, people have what is it, gluten allergy? Nobody
Yeah.
ever had a gluten allergy in the history of the world until like
Or peanuts, for
15
that
years ago.
matter. You can't even take peanut butter and jelly sandwich into school anymore, and we grew up
Oh,
on
dude,
that.
they won't even like my daughter's schools. You can't even send homemade snacks anymore. You got to buy
Mhm.
snacks like from the cafeteria if you want
Wow.
to get like on the birthday or whatever.
That's terrible. Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah,
even lactose intolerance as well now. I felt like I got that, unfortunately, and got to be careful. You gotta be
yeah.
careful.
Our immune,
Yeah,
it's
We've
all
got,
about your gut health. I think your immune
yeah,
system.
and you hear like scientists being interviewed saying, "Yeah, we're developing ticks that will bite people and make them allergic to meat. Isn't that great? We're going to save the
Or
planet."
mosquitoes, where
So you're like,
what happened?
these are
Yeah.
super villains in my eyes. It's like we got to find these people and
Oh,
keep them
No, I know.
busy
absolutely. I mean,
breaking
it
rocks
seems
or
like
something.
any batshit crazy ideal, with enough money behind it,
Oh,
we're sort of in the environment. It's like, yeah, I could do this, and it's like, yeah, but
scares
you
me,
never
bro, is
ask
that
yourself the
they're talking
ethical
about lab
question:
growing
should
meat.
I do it?
Well, their ethics are all warped. They're
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing it for the
They're
paycheck.
talking about making meat in laboratories instead of
right.
butcher
Or
shops.
Yeah,
veggie
You
meat.
know,
yeah.
That's not meat.
They had Bill
veggie
Gates
meat.
as what do you call it? Almost meat or something meat.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
I
knew
will
people who,
almost pay you for
What
that.
they
How
call
yeah,
it
about that?
right.
beyond meat. I think they
And
call
I've
it.
met
It's like beyond meat.
vegetarians who eat that stuff, and I'm like, it's just like it's just chemicals. It's
Yeah,
just like what you're putting in your body is just it's a terrible, terrible
Soylent
thing.
Green.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we're not. Well, yeah. I mean, there
You
has
know that one,
been,
Frederic?
Of
Soylent Green.
course, it's made of
heck
Okay.
yeah.
people.
Chris says I saw 3D printed meat and
I think I saw
refused
the
to
Zabe
taste
boys
it.
out there.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Hell
I
no.
hear you, man. I hear you.
It probably didn't even look aesthetically good. Okay, so you said steak. You got a couple more meals.
Oh well,
What do you have
my
besides?
mom's spaghetti's got to be up there as to
Oh,
one of the best.
I was thinking about back of my mind. I bet he says pasta. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Hmm.
try not to eat too much pasta. My belly blew up when I was
Right.
like when I was
Yeah, that's a
eating what I
bad
really
one for
like
that.
to eat. I
Yeah.
started getting like in my 30s and 40s, it started to blow up a little bit. When I went
No,
back to steak, everything like melted away, so
Oh,
that's good.
Chris is
yeah.
in the chat. I
And
didn't even realize.
we've got traditional meals here like meat pie that was the best, like meat and potatoes in a pie. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite meals as well. And
But
special,
like a shepherd's pie, kind of, sort of, or
yeah, but
something.
it's a traditional French Canadian thing. So you have
Okay.
like
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
blocks of meat
That's,
with
Now,
I'm
have you
medium.
sure I
tried
would
to
like that.
replicate your mother's spaghetti?
No, but she has the recipe written somewhere. So
Okay. Well, you need
yeah,
to start making it now because she won't be around forever, and you may want to
yeah,
eat that the rest of your
yeah,
life.
And you might want
yeah.
some tips too on
Just to remember her. Yeah.
how she does
Yeah.
the
Beef
That's
tips
pasta.
and rice are awesome.
that's a good point. That's a good point. And of
And
course, like
hey,
we
Bill
have
Diaz in the chat and Chris Smith,
uh,
Kilo Boys.
on special occasions as well. Like we'll have like Chinese fondue, which is very thin slices of meat that you
Mhm.
just dip into a broth.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Yeah.
you put a
Oh,
little
yeah,
bit of cheese and you wrap your meat around cheese, put it in broth, and it's
Oh, dude, I love
Well,
doing fondue. That's
just
like
like
one of my
artwork, food is an aesthetic, isn't it? It's a pleasure. It's
that's
a
right.
blessing.
That's
You know?
right.
Yeah.
I've
Especially
done
French
that with my
People just
cuisine.
kids a
gobble,
couple of
gobble,
times. They
gobble.
love it.
They don't
You know,
even
you get to cook your own food.
consume,
Yeah.
Have a little.
consume. Yeah. Do you like to cook, Frederic?
Not so much, no. Like I say, I'm usually at the drawing table all day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'll cook up a steak when I'm I'm so hungry I can't draw anymore.
Have you had an authentic French dip?
French dip? What's a French dip?
French dip is like au jus, and you dip your sandwich in the
It's
au jus.
a very thinly sliced, like medium cooked roast beef on a nice baguette.
Oh yeah,
So,
of course.
and then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
dip
yeah.
Yeah.
that into some,
I've had
Yeah.
almost every French
Yeah.
meal you can imagine. I've had, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, here in the States they call it a French dip. That's the
Yeah, well, we don't call it an English term here, right? Because we speak French, so I had
right.
no
Yeah,
idea what
exactly.
that was.
We call it a Yankee dip up here.
There you go.
I
And
call it
someone said
good eating.
poutine. Poutine, of course, is
Oh,
a favorite
poutine
of
is
ours.
awesome, dude. I tried that when I was a kid. It's so good.
Yeah, it's the best thing when you go out, have a drink with friends, and before you
Mhm.
go home, you're hungry. You go grab a poutine on the
Yeah,
way back, and oh
that's
man,
how I discovered it.
it's
We
heavenly.
went and met a
Yeah.
buddy that lived up in Montreal, and he's like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna take you out on the town, And
and
before
it's
we went
all
back home, he stopped by this little place and he brought out a big old takeout bag. He's like, "You guys gotta try this." And it was
that's
all
right.
these little things of poutine. It's so good.
Do
It
you
is.
have Shadowhawk mentioned baguette? Do you have a good bakery around you?
Yeah, but it closed. So everything's closing around here.
Oh no.
This is like the apocalypse right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've gotten in the past year, we've got a huge inflow of Africans come in,
Oh
and
shit.
all the stores are closing. So we've got I've got about 4 or 5 stores on my street that are just like graffitied, windowed,
Oh damn, bro.
empty stores.
Sounds
So
like Detroit.
I
well,
guess,
yeah,
dude.
we've got the liberal government for like 10 years, so they're turning Canada into a communist state. So we're
Mm-hmm.
well on our way to be completely destroyed.
So are
And
you married, Frederick? Any kids or?
no kids, not married. So
Oh, okay. So you just worried about yourself. You're good to go.
We
I've
could
got
move
yeah,
some immigrants up there in your apartment, or
Well, I
yeah,
mean, the
sure.
problem
with
is
you,
like me. I got kids to worry
That's what
about
they
too.
want to do.
So
Yeah. No,
something like that
Double
happens.
up.
I just
I
got
got to
2
move.
kitty
Yeah.
cats to worry
2
about
kitty
so
cats.
far.
Yeah,
And I got my parents are living not too far away, so I
that's
go
nice.
That's cool.
keep an eye on them
Now,
from time
fish
to
is a
time.
big diet. It's a big thing in people's diet. Do you have some good, nice? I mean, is that a big part of your diet? Is
A
fish
small
or
part. I love fish.
small part?
It's
Yeah.
delicious. I love it from time to time. I try not to have too much of it because there's a lot of heavy metals in fish now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I just keep it moderate. And
Yeah, it seems like you're pretty keen on that, and I'm becoming more aware of that too. I've started eating last year pumpkin seeds,
oh yeah,
for parasitic, purposes, and just
yeah.
I don't mind them with the shell on them, but Aldi has, a chain store down here has started uh, carrying the shelled pumpkin seeds, and usually they're plumper. It seems like than the ones that are dried and salted, dry and
Yeah.
but yeah, um, and I don't know if the shells have any. I'm sure they've got some nutrition, but they're probably hard to break down. But yeah, I've been trying to more cognitive of what I've been eating. I eat walnuts, high in omega
Yeah.
3s, and
Yeah.
a dark chocolate. I try to every day a little bit of square dark chocolate. The bitter the better. For
That's
you.
good.
And just, that's a good snack every day, a handful of walnuts, pumpkin seeds, black chocolate, maybe a few other good things, and you make it through the day.
Wow, you're making me hungry now.
I
I
know,
wish I
You
dude.
had
just
some black
ate,
chocolate.
Frederick. What the hell?
Well, yeah, but I didn't have any
Yeah.
black chocolate, and
Yeah.
it's chocolate is so good with wine as well. Like with a little bit of red wine and
I love
chocolate.
dark
It's like,
chocolate too. Yeah,
oh,
it's
it's
so
so
good.
good. Like
So what is poutine? What is poutine? He says poutine on a Ritz.
It's like gravy, French fries, and cheese curds. I think.
yeah. So
Like
the
and
secret
all mixed
ingredient is
together
the
into a.
cheese curds. So you have to
Oh,
find a place that has really fresh cheese curds, ideally daily, fresh
Mhm.
from the day.
mm,
And the way it works is you got your crispy fries, you put the cheese curds on top of that, and then your hot gravy will melt the cheese into the fries, and like pouring the gravy just mixes everything. And then you just like grab a fork and you'll pick up like some cheese and fries with, and then
Oh yeah,
it's
I've seen that.
covered in gravy, and it's just absolutely,
Hmm.
an assault on the senses, truly.
Yeah, yeah. To me, bread and like dipping gravy. Oh my God, you can make a meal out of that. Although the
Yeah,
carbs and but
yeah.
you could do sourdough or something like that. Your more fermented breads are probably the best for you. You know, uh, I guess.
'Cause- and you can do like there's a bunch of variations on poutine as well. Like you
Yeah,
got there's a
Hmm.
T-Rex poutine, which is like 6 types of meat on top of it.
And they
oh my
call it
god,
T
Um,
Rex. Wow.
yeah, there's a place in Montreal that's known for their poutine. They have a T-Rex
that
poutine,
sounds good.
and I've had curry poutine, which is like Indian style.
Hey, Tree.
You could put spaghetti sauce on your poutine as well.
Yeah.
There's so many like variations
I
you can
know
put on
over
top of
in
that.
sort of the
Guilty
Middle
got me.
East, they take these big blocks or wheels of cheese and then, heat a certain portion up and just,
Hmm. Yep.
yeah, I mean,
You could add sausages to it, put a little meat in there.
mhm.
Sausages are
Well,
always
not
good.
not in the Middle East. They're like anti-pork, no.
No, no, right. Yeah.
But yeah, they'd probably use lamb or something like that. I know Shadowhawk's a big lamb person
Hmm.
when he can get it. Um, Someone mentioned venison earlier in the chat. I've had elk. Elk jerky is really good, fresh from Colorado.
Oh, that must be nice.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a friend that goes up every year and hunts, and sometimes goes bear hunting up there. They used to live up there, so
Yeah, it's hard to get game meat. Like it's illegal. Like I know someone put like a call out for some game meat on social media, and they got arrested.
oh wow,
It's yeah, the world is pretty backward, as backward over here sometimes.
yeah.
The Although we have an Indian reserve close by, and they have special license to serve game meat at their restaurant. Now it's pricey, but it's an option.
Well, now, how concerned are you about the way your government's going? Because I mean, up to a few years ago, Canada was we were Siamese twins. We were joined at the hip, it seems
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
now not so much.
There was a time you didn't even need a ID to cross the border, right? It was
Yeah,
just
right, exactly.
Canadians,
Yeah, I
and
always
a
wanted to
lot.
go to Canada, clean air, wilderness.
Yeah, yeah.
Get mauled by a
Most
bear, come back home,
Americans,
maybe in
especially
a boat.
Americans, like living in the north of the U.S., most of them have come to Canada at one time or something. Now it's just insane. I mean, it's not a Canada thing, right? It's every country that's under the World Health Organization, the World
Mhm.
Economic Forum. They're all going into managed decline. So it's like they want to force us down into poverty, communism.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
they
this
want
this does
to,
not bode well. The latest election in New York, or I think there was another one. I always said and was made aware of this during uh, Barack Obama's decade ago, terms in office, that radical Islam, not Muslims, but radical Islam. Not all Muslims are radical, but that is a big, big problem for every country.
yeah, yeah.
What they couldn't do for force by century, they're doing by kind of contrition, as I
Well,
see
right.
it.
In World War II, they dropped bombs. In World War III, they're dropping immigrants. That's kind of the way it's going.
Yeah. Yeah. If you'll let them in, hey, then we'll come in, we'll overpopulate, and we'll
Well,
take over the
they don't
boat, and
ask
we'll
us,
take over
right?
your country. It's
The
that simple.
governments, yeah, they don't ask the population. It's just you
Yeah.
got the world leaders have all gone through the World Economic Forum. Uh, what do you call it? Like training, and so
Yeah.
they're just following the plan. Justin Trudeau just did everything according to plan. And
Hmm.
they label people who don't go according to it as fringe minority, despite it being the normal way we've done things since forever. And they call people racist and bigots and all that for just wanting to stand up for their communities. So it's an attack on all senses, right? It's an attack on through information, It's an attack on our culture, and
Mhm.
we're kind of falling apart. And a lot of people are still blind to it. They're still oblivious to the fact. So it's very difficult to fight back as a group, because at least in World War II, you knew you were under attack. You had bullets whizzing by. You had
Yeah.
bombs happening. Now people think we're just being kind and nice to unfortunate people who have it rough. So they don't understand that we're living through suicidal empathy, where we're bringing people in who don't care for us. They think we're stupid,
And
and they're
don't want
taking it.
to assimilate.
Yeah, no, they want to take advantage of our stupidity to take us
Yeah.
over. In a lot of
Yeah.
cities, even in Montreal, they take over the front of the churches to do public prayers to Islam, right? So they just assert dominance in the streets. And most people have been gotten rid of this. Most Christians have been turned to atheists, right? So they slowly got rid
Yeah.
of religion in people's lives. So when you're faced with a strong religion, and with atheists just think they're open-minded, they're like, oh, I'm just so loving and open-minded and tolerant. They don't
Mhm.
understand that the other side is just looking to assimilate, or to annihilate
Yeah.
people, because
Yeah.
they still think everybody's
Subjugate.
nice, and they're trying their hardest to be the nicest person that they can be, and they think everyone is living their life the same way. They don't understand that things are different in other parts of the world, and not everyone grows up with the
Yeah.
same, you know.
Well, they're told to lie. It's okay to lie,
Yeah, you
for
can
the
lie to
entertainment.
Christians. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So Omer says, "Let's bring back the Crusades." Amen, brother. Amen.
He would say that. Anything, my God.
Well, he's not the only one. Apparently, it's a trending thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see how
The
things
the the
develop.
darkest part of Christianity, he would bring that up.
Well, you were talking about the downfall of Canada. So I'm almost hoping it goes in an accelerated fashion, because it might prompt people to wake up. And I do like the fact that Trump has been talking about assimilating Canada into the 51st state. If he cleans up the United States and then assimilates Canada as a state or a series of states, it might save Canada, right? It might save all these countries, because if all these countries turn to communism, it just becomes a threat to. It's just
Mhm.
your upstairs neighbor is now a threat to you guys, because you got people who are poor and brainwashed, and like just an open gateway for Muslims and Chinese to come in through that door. So
Here's a hard question, and maybe it's not hard. It's what you make it, I guess. Have you um, let's see how to phrase it. Have you thought about leaving Canada?
oh yeah,
Put it like that. I mean,
every
what do you
every
do?
day,
Yeah.
every day. I mean, I've got a couple of aging parents, which I'm kind of looking after them. So I don't know if I would feel like responsible just leaving the country just now.
Sure.
I'm more keen on I'm more looking to, okay, when's the going to be the right time to leave? Like, part of me hopes that we get turned into a 51st state, so I can become American without changing apartments.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I really don't.
I mean, it might happen, it might not. I don't know either.
It'd be wild if it did.
It'd be wild. I mean, the United
Yeah.
States would become the biggest empire ever. You add Canada and you add Greenland, and it would dominate the world. No question. Now,
Yeah.
I've thought about leaving a lot. Like, I have friends, a lot of friends are leaving the country. I have some who moved down to El Salvador. I have friends who've
Why?
moved to Costa
Why?
Rica.
My God, why?
Uh,
I don't
I have a
know.
lot of friends who are moving. So, it's just a question of time, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I know when you have ties to a place, it's hard to uproot, and I loathe moving, you
Well,
know.
that's the thing, is you don't want to, like, let them win just by You don't want to
Yeah.
abandon your home turf and say,
But
"Oh
you don't
yeah,
want to get caught behind enemy lines either. I mean, worst case scenario.
yeah." I mean, my
I
ancestors
mean, it
came
seems
here
like
from
that here in
France.
America to me, with some of these regime states that really, your hedges can only be so high and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, no, for sure. Like it's gone terrible. Like it's a socialist state over here. But I've also got deep roots. Like my ancestors came over here from France.
Yeah.
They they worked the forest and the trees and built, and we've got generations here. So I don't want to give it up easily either. I don't want to just flee. It's not just a question of
Sure.
immediate advantage, but I mean, you got to take all that into account at the same time. So, I think about it every day. I've got plans. I've got,
Do you really? You really think about it every day?
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when I walk outside, it's like this used to be an all white city. Like it's just French people. We were so racist, we wouldn't let English people move here, Rex.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
we got 2 African villages that have
Yeah.
just moved in,
Quebec is
and they're
different
not
than all the
assimilated.
other provinces, isn't it?
Yeah, like we've been at odds with the English for like hundreds of years. So
Yeah.
we fought to maintain our culture more than any other place. And the fact that that Africans are coming in, they're not even assimilating, right? It's not the same religion. They have their own stores, their own ghettos. It's not. It's. I don't see this as being a good thing. Like I have been brought up not to be racist, right? I've been brought up to care and
Mhm.
consider everyone equally. But I've also been aware of what's happened in the last 5 years, and I also see that there's a higher order of plan to shift nations around and like
Oh, yeah.
traumatize areas with. And we're talking about a massive immigration. These is not just like a handful of
Mhm.
people who need a better life. We're talking about giving people free rides and to come here, and like all the stores, like this used to be just French people. Now I
Yeah.
go to the grocery stores, none of the people working are French anymore. It's
Yeah. You
all
can see the
Africans.
demographic changing, the cuisine, everything, the
Well, yeah,
culture.
because they're
Yeah.
getting through socialist plans. They're getting free. Their paychecks are being paid by the government, so there's no incentive to hire the French. So they're hiring all Africans, and so it's a huge culture shock that's happening where I live, and it's mind blowing. And everyone's been programmed to not be to overly be loving and non-racist, that no one says so. And if you just mention it, you can feel people's hair on their arms like and neck and just
Mhm.
go up like, oh no, 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 I'm not racist. I'm not one of those horrible, terrible
Yeah.
Nazis. It's
You
like, yeah,
know,
but you're
racism, we
losing your
need to talk
culture.
openly about it. There's guilt and shame where there shouldn't be in a lot of
That's right.
instances.
That's right.
Ryan James wants to know, did you ever hang with Dale Keown?
So we
Privilege?
brought, yeah, I mean, I'm part of the show with Patrick Quinlan on the Comicsgate Commandos, and we had Dale Keown as a guest Sunday a few weeks ago, maybe last month or so. And we
Mhm.
got to talk
Mhm.
with Dale. It was a fantastic
Awesome.
conversation. We talked about his history, how he broke into the business, working on the Incredible Hulk with Peter David, and him doing some Kirby crackle. And he even told us what the technique was for that Jack Kirby used for the crackle. So fascinating
Good. You
conversation.
need to pass that on to me. I
Yeah,
missed
well,
it.
Yeah, yeah, I watched that too.
apparently he used to take the eraser on his pencil and dip
Mhm.
it in
Oh,
ink,
yeah. I've
right?
heard
And
that.
there's just a little
Yeah.
cup of ink, and he'd hit the page with the backside of his pencil, the eraser side.
Mhm.
That was a quick way to get circles on the page and to
Yeah.
form what we know as Kirby crackle today,
Mhm.
which is almost legendary. Like a lot of artists incorporate that now as a nod, as a stylistic
Oh, yeah.
integration.
Yeah.
It's part of the
What
history.
is your kind of education in the arts? Are you self-taught? Are you a
Mostly
little formally
self-taught. I
trained?
mean, I've had classes as well, but not gonna lie, like most of what I learned, I just because I was
Mhm.
so in love with it that I started diving into it as a young kid. I grew up obviously with French bande dessinée, right? The culture is very different here with comics. Like
Mhm.
Americans have the American comics were way more oriented towards children, and it was much more of a throwaway medium than it was in Europe. And in
Yeah.
Quebec, it's the same as in Europe. Like it's like we're just a branch of Europe over here, even though we're in the North America, we've got the same culture as France. And so we've got all these French bande dessinée, these albums, which are all hardcover. They're magazine size, and
Mhm.
they're 48 pages to maybe 72 on average, right? You've got bigger, you've got smaller, but that's kind of the general range in which
Are
it
those printed
operates.
in Canada? Probably, right?
Oh,
Well, I mean, I'm sure you get imports,
yeah,
especially
I
from
think they're
France, but
imported. Like, I don't want to
yeah,
say a quick no. My instinct is
yeah.
to say no.
Well, I know
But
some of the stuff that we get down here is printed in Canada,
yeah,
especially
because
during the 80s. You know, there
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah. We
lot of
we had
comics.
huge printing presses
Uh-huh.
because we had because we're pretty autonomous here because the fact
Mhm.
that we've been hanging on to our culture, we have our own studio system, our own Hollywood in Montreal, our own TV shows, our own movies, just to preserve the culture. So a lot of it is subsidized by the government, but like we've been hanging on to our French language and our culture, despite being like part of Canada officially. We pay taxes to Ottawa, but we desperately hang on to our culture. At least we had in the past 100 years. So um, now it seems that things are shifting a little bit. But although the conversation about independence is coming back, like we've
Yeah.
got multiple provinces talking about it, and Quebec is one of those as
The
well. So
farmers have been kind of up in arms. I guess a lot of people, here in America and Canada, I was surprised to hear about up in Canada. I didn't know much of Canada's history, but the indigenous populace, the Native American Indians, uh, here in America, but you also you had your own purge, didn't you, of your indigenous people that were here early on? It
yeah,
seems.
uh, the French were a bit different than the English. They're in their relations with the Aboriginals. So the English were often, fighting with the American Indians, whereas the French
Hmm.
came and we learned their language really quickly. So we had the best relations with the Aboriginals, uh, and we intermarried a lot as well. Now that's
Yeah.
been kind of erased from the documents. All the
And
documents
even
have
when
been
you go up
whitewashed.
north, you've got even what we would call Eskimos or the Inuit, I guess. Those
Inuits. Yeah,
Inuit. Okay.
yeah,
We'll
yeah. I
go
think
with his because I'm not.
I don't think
Yeah.
they call themselves Eskimos.
No. Well,
But
no, they don't.
Inuits, yeah, there's trains that go up to northern villages, or else you got to go take a plane to those remote areas, and it's very,
Oh, yeah.
very
Real
cold.
remote. Yep.
Yep, 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 yep.
And very
And
cold
we
most of
have
the
it
year.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never went up there. I had never had the inclination, but I had friends from New York City of all things
Yeah.
that were curious to see how, because they just love to travel. So they were like, okay, we're gonna hop on the train and go as north as the tracks will take us,
Mm.
and then come back to New York. And they took a trip up there, and I was like, "You guys are crazy! Make sure you got good boots, good coat." And they had to buy, winter gear here in Canada just to make it for the trip because
Yeah.
it's. I mean, it's a danger to your health. Like if you're not if you don't have good clothing and good boots, your life
Oh,
is in
definitely.
danger.
Very, very quickly.
Uh,
Yeah. If it
Whereas
turns.
if you've got good coat and good boots, well,
Mm.
you can even like be sweating under there. If you like start walking and be active, you'll be
Uh-huh.
warm
Oh,
even
yeah.
in the coldest temperature because you're keeping your heat. So it's all about how you dress. Super
Yeah.
important.
Kind of like in the Sahara Desert, many layers of clothing because it
Yeah,
keeps that moisture in. And you would think it would be hot as hell, but
Yeah.
there's actually a science to that.
yeah. It's
Well,
hot during the
I know what
day,
he's
and
talking about because but
yeah,
we get pretty frigid up here, right around the Lake Michigan and Chicago and around Chicago. It gets pretty damn cold sometimes.
yeah,
And if you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have a good
Hmm.
coat and good boots, man, you're gonna suffer.
yeah, yeah. and you want to be heating your home, I mean, it's now illegal to burn wood. So wood stoves have been made illegal where I live.
Wow.
Are you
So
kidding me, bro? What the heck?
yeah,
It's part of the global warming agenda. Isn't
yeah,
it?
Oh,
they
yeah,
they
that's
made up
insane.
these
That is
theories
insane.
about
The trees do the whole entire job of breathing for the planet. They absorb the carbon, they release the
Well,
carbon, they
look
absorb
at
well,
all
yeah,
the
the
but
carbon that comes out from
I do.
volcanoes. You
yeah,
know,
but how are you
your
going to get
car is
more
not going to
tax
destroy the
money,
planet.
Shadowhawk? You gotta extract more and more tax money from people,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Are you guys
yeah,
getting? Are
if
they
you
talking
don't
about
care to
giving
govern,
away a carbon footprint, Frederic, where they're gonna tax you, assessed on your usage?
Yeah, they're already doing that. They're
well, you
Really?
think
already
about
doing
it
that.
every day, Frederick. Where would you move to?
Well, that's the big question. That's the big question. I really like. I have a friend who's looking at Austin, Texas. Texas looks like a
Oh,
mighty fine place. It's one of the best places to mine Bitcoin. Like so many Bitcoin miners down in Texas.
mhm.
Uh,
Austin is a great city. Unfortunately, it's like for being in Texas, it's extremely far left in its politics.
yeah,
Yeah, and it didn't used to be that way. Houston and
No,
Dallas just went that way.
it's the
And I
last
know I've
20,
been to Houston, and
25
it's a
years or
very
so.
busy city. You know.
yeah. Well, it's the Californian exodus, right? All the
Yeah, well,
lefties.
you got a bunch
Yeah.
of
Hmm.
Yeah,
like music stars and movie stars
yeah.
and stuff
Well,
that ended
yeah.
up
Well, you
buying
know, they
Most
property.
tried that with the immigrants to move a bunch into Texas, and
Hmm.
flip that. If they flip that or Florida, then they can rule in perpetuity. You know, they
Yeah,
can win
Yeah.
every election.
Well, you saw how
Because
that went for him.
yeah.
yeah, I
Florida's.
mean,
The
they
Tex-
really
the
tried to
Texas governor
stuff
put
as
like
many
5
immigrants within the
busloads of
states.
immigrants
I've
on 3 buses to Martha's Vineyard and sent them all the way.
I saw that. I saw that. That was hilarious.
That was fucking awesome.
I
Sheldon,
also
didn't Canada outlaw going into the woods too?
yes, yes.
What?
Can you explain that to us, Frederick, a little
No, I
bit?
can't explain that. How can you explain that? It's utter madness.
You mean like if you live on a property that has acres of land, you can't go into your own woods or like on government property?
Yeah.
Well,
No, you can't go into the woods. So this was around the summertime. Now they try. Here's their bullshit story: is it's to prevent forest fires, right? Now, I don't believe that for 1 second. As we mentioned earlier, I don't trust the government
No,
farther than
bro.
I can throw it. But here's my take: is a lot of people have been caught starting fires, and this is a perfect excuse for their global warming theory. So I think they want to keep people out of the forest so they don't catch the arsonists. Now that's
Exactly.
my own tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
The thing is about conspiracy theorists is they're right all of the time. They're just ahead of the truth for 4 years.
Well, and I mean, coincidentally, here in the U.S., and I don't know about in Canada, but poultry farms, big giant egg producers, have suddenly been having spontaneous fires.
Yeah, yeah, and they're
Like
killing
destroying,
ostriches. They're
yeah,
they
destroying millions of birds at a time.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were just killing ostriches last month. The government just, it's I mean, it's not new, sadly. Like it started with the buffalo. Like you could eat off the land. There were fruit trees apparently
Mhm.
everywhere.
Mhm.
The earth was plentiful. God gave us everything we needed, and then some people come in and they
Well,
want to take that
and you
away,
know what? A
one
lot
thing at
of
a
it
time.
too is it's all the way down to like the realty industry, because like HOAs can tell you what you can have, even though it's your property, you're in their neighborhood, right? So
Yeah,
you want to have a chicken? No, you can have a chicken.
you don't own
Yeah.
anything in Canada. Everything is owned by the Queen, so
No.
they allow
Even
you
though
to.
you're in. Oh, see, that was another question I had. I thought the French Canadians were still under France.
No, the French abandoned us.
Oh, yeah, well, I hate to say they got a record for that, but
I hear that a lot. So yeah, the French abandoned us. They sold what part they had of the United States, and they abandoned Quebec to Canada. So we're officially part of Canada, though we are recognized as having a distinct culture. So that's what we've been hanging on to. So we're not a distinct country, but we have been fighting so much to keep the culture. Most of Quebec is French speaking, except if you go to Montreal. Montreal's kind of half and half, like literally right down the middle of the city. Yeah, you got the west side of Montreal is very, the rich side is English, and the eastern side is French. So you kind of got a geographical divide down there. Most people speak both languages, to be honest. But
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, I know quite a few people I've met just through,
Hey, Mike.
doing this kind of thing and being in Comicsgate and stuff. Simon Pothier. Do you know Simon? Have you talked
I've
to him?
heard the name before, but I haven't met him.
Sam?
No.
Yeah, he goes by Sim Ink Slayer.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be on the lookout for that.
good, yeah. He's not afraid of laying down them blacks, if you know what I said. I mean,
And he doesn't.
Well,
be racist.
I know, I understood the reference. I hear that a lot as well.
Mhm.
You
I
gotta
think
have
Inkings
balance
were-
on the page. That's why I have a black cat and a white cat. I gotta keep the apartment balanced in the black and whites.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
You
got
can't
the yin and yang, like in
can't
your
go
cat.
over too much blacks, too much
You
whites.
were born in Germany, Frederic.
Yeah,
How
das
the
ist
hell
richtig
did you
weit
wind up
entfernt.
where you're at now?
Well, through a plane. Got on the plane.
Through a plane. Okay.
Yeah.
His parents were hippies. They
So,
were hiking.
my
I will
father-
kick you off the show, sir.
My father was in the military.
Yeah. Okay,
when
I
I
was going to
was-
ask that. Yeah.
Oh,
when I
that
was born.
explains it. Yeah, Germany.
Yeah.
That's we used to
So-
have a huge presence there for a long time.
Yeah. So he was in the Air Force, Canadian Air Force, and he was posted in Baden-Baden, and I was born in Lahr, not too far from there.
Mhm.
And so born there, stayed 4 years in Germany. Then I moved back to Quebec, and my parents decided to follow along and come over with me as well. And then it was like I lived in the most francophone place in Quebec, and then that's where I learned my English. So I tend to do things backwards,
Mhm.
because my father was in the military. I had special rights to go to English school. Now, as I was telling you, like the Québécois, the French Canadians, they protect their language. And one of the ways they do it is they prevent the kids from going to English school. But if your dad was in the military,
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
so, but if your dad's in the military, he can be transferred to anywhere in Canada or outside
Right,
Canada.
So you're
at any
given an
moment.
exception to the
Yeah,
rules.
So you have a special exception.
Ah.
And I don't
Wow.
recall this, but my parents told me that I was the one that requested to go to English school to learn English. Now, I think it's because I was watching, my dad used to watch the TV show MASH. So he would watch that in English in the evenings, and he would laugh so much, it was hilarious. And I couldn't understand anything. So I think that's why I wanted to go to English school, so I could understand MASH.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's where.
Well, plus to hang out with your dad, right? And
Yeah.
share a lot.
So
That's the way I was with all the Rocky and Bullwinkle, Jay Ward cartoons. It's like the jokes were told on one level for a kid, and now that I watch it as an adult, there's another layer there.
That's the best, man. Those are the best stories. Those are the best stories that you go back to. You find another level and another level. I love that type of storytelling. I think it's the best. It's wrong to think of kid stories as just kid stories.
I think you picked a good language to learn. English, they say, is one of the hardest languages to pick up because it is sort of like a melting pot of different terms, from different
English
languages.
was very easy.
So many other languages are they're very similar to each other because a lot of them are Latin based or Romance based, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
Italian and French
I tried learning
Spanish.
German. German's very hard. German's very hard.
German is crazy. German, Russian. I don't know if I could. I mean, I know a few words in Russian because my dad was half Russian. My dad.
Hands up, don't shoot.
But it's just like, hello, goodbye, thank you, where's the bathroom, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The useful thing.
Yeah.
So if you were to take Iron Shadow out to eat, where would we go now that the demographics changed so much around you?
You mean here in Quebec?
Yeah.
Well,
if they would even allow us in,
Oh yeah, you're totally allowed in. I mean, so I live in the capital of Quebec, which is also called Quebec City. So just like New York, you have the city and state. And here it's the oldest fortified city in North America. So it's the most touristy place you can find.
Can you define fortified? What do you mean by fortified?
Well, we have an old medieval wall around the old city. So there's a whole walled structure. You can go on a horse ride, like a buggy ride through the old cities. Yeah, that's the thing. We have buildings from the mid 1800s.
Screw that! You can't even go in the woods anymore, Frederic. And you're saying take a buggy ride,
bro. We used to.
Do you do that on top of the wall?
We used to have buggy rides for 100
You can walk on top of the wall, yes.
And New York. And in both of those cities, they've been banned. And I mean, generations of guys that, their kids took over their buggy and they just bought a new horse. And
out of a job.
3 generations of people got put out of work a couple of years back during the Obama administration because
we got to put the politicians out of work. That's what we got to do. We got to turn things around.
And another one, due to global warming, horses excrete too much carbon dioxide into the air,
which is a joke.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. We used to have planes covered with buffalo in the millions, and we didn't have any kind of carbon issues.
And we still don't. I mean, they say the oceans are rising, but you can see photos of 100 years ago. The ocean's exactly the same place it was.
Yeah, and why are they still buying beachfront property and the insurance people
that's
are
what
still
I was going to say. The people who are selling this to us know it's a lie, but they have disdain for the population. They're like, these people are so stupid. We're going to sell them this lie. We're going to extract a lot of money from them. We're going to keep them
poor. They'll believe whatever we tell them.
Here's a big, I wouldn't ask these questions if I didn't want to pick your brain a little bit about this, because you are in a different country. You're in a different, we all had different Christmases, right? Like I like to say, we had different ways we were raised, different cultural things. And I forgot my question in all that, but
something to do with Christmas, I think.
All right.
Not to do with Christmas.
I don't want to be rude and interrupt, but we've had Frederic on for a little over an hour now.
Screw that. Frederic, we're not going to talk about his comic book today. No.
We're not going to talk about his comic book at all. We're just going to keep him on the hook until we can grill him to death.
No. Look, if you hadn't told him it was an hour, he thought it was 15 minutes. Come on.
I see your strategy.
Way to go. Yeah. We'll finish strong with that.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, man. I'm having a good time.
We got to promote your book. I mean, come on. We've had you.
Yes, of course.
Over here on the hook for an hour. Rex, let's drop the trailer.
Okay. All right. Shadowhawk takes over the show. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Ratel on Fund My Comic.
I'm flexing my wings today, mister.
Thank you, Shadowhawk.
I think you are. Yeah. I've not forgotten about his project. I had it pulled up. See. Here we go. dystopian Canada. So this is a story about kind of Canada today, but not really, right?
Yeah, you have to use your imagination and pretend Canada's going to the shits. And
Mm-hmm.
our hero is kind of standing up to the government, and especially on the financial side, because that's kind of where everything starts, right? We measure our time in money, and that's where they mostly strangle us. So this young man wants to fight back against the banking system by hacking their computers and also mining some Bitcoin, and he gets into trouble.
It's a difference, isn't it? Now he is wealthy,
Dude, I have
right?
so
And
many
he can,
questions.
Not at first. I mean, he starts off, a very average person, very average
Mhm.
young man.
Mhm.
But by his interest in Bitcoin, especially after being thrown in jail for 9 years, that Bitcoin has accrued a lot of value. So when he comes out, he has much more of a firm's financial position than he had going in. So he decides to invest some of that to uh, realizes his yearning for justice, kind of like a Bruce Wayne who wants to, you know, make vehicles and tools and to fight crime. Ratel is the same way, except instead of having a corporation that works with him, he's more of a DIY guy, working from his basement, ordering parts online from Silk Road and such avenues, and working in the shadows to try to build a better world for himself and the people around him.
All right. Well, we're gonna play the trailer, and then Shadowhawk's got a plethora, and he better, of questions, and I bet they're all about
Sounds good.
Bitcoin. But we shall see.
No,
Sounds
I've
good.
got I've
Thank
got
you
at
all
least
so much
I've
for
got at
coming.
least 3 good questions about this character that I need.
Okay, three good questions. Okay. All right.
Sounds
Well,
good.
let me
Sounds
see.
good, my
Before
man.
we go there, I want to do this, of course, to head it off. I'm getting ahead of myself. There we go. We're gonna chop it up.
Thank you all so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I especially appreciate Frederic Guimont.
Now, how do you say your last name? How do you say your last name?
It's Guimont. So like
Guimont.
kind of like McGee,
Right.
right?
And
McGee.
they murder your
I
name.
knew it.
They
Yes.
murder your name in this trailer.
It's Guimont.
I'm
Absolutely,
just gonna call him
absolutely.
out tonight because
You pronounce it
I
the
don't know, I want to
French
make
way.
everybody else
Guimont.
jealous, and also he's got a great
Now
name.
tell us about this. You're number 7 of some kind of, what is this?
So this is Warlock Magazine. It's kind of an offshoot. Well, it's just a Twitter account at this point, but it's an offshoot or a nod towards Wizard Magazine back in the 90s. I don't know if you guys
Right.
remember Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
And they had these top 10 lists, right? So you have the top 10 writers, top 10
Yeah.
artists, top 10
Mhm.
creators, cover artists, and all that.
Right.
And he decided to create a top 10 up and coming hotshots, which is the new kids on the block, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was named as one of them, and so I decided to, hey, let's feature it in the trailer. People don't know who I am. Let's
Wow,
try
bro, you're in
to,
good company there.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
I thought Tom Tuttle was a writer, just a writer, not an artist. So how's
yeah,
he in there
so
with you?
these are just the top 10 hot shots. So it's a general
Okay.
creator.
Yeah,
Okay.
it could be a writer.
Same with
Could be an
Johnny
artist.
Rocket is a writer. Patrick Quinlan's
Mhm.
a writer. And
But
the
you
others
got
are all
Stefani
artists.
Renee, Elliot Rodriguez, John Dillard in there. Dude, you're in there with
You're in with good
Now, are
company.
you
Yeah.
writing Frederic, or do you do everything?
I do almost everything. So the only part that I don't do is the colors. I realized that the colors I
so
was
cool, bro.
doing at the time when I started the project, my colors were not that good, and it was taking me a lot of time to do very mediocre colors. So I found
Yeah,
a
I don't like
colorist who is also a Bitcoiner. And so I figured, wow, this guy, he's going to get it. He's going to understand the project, and he's going to accept Bitcoin as payment as well. So I brought him on the project, and he's been doing such a tremendous work. I've since improved on my colors, so I do colors for some of the side stuff, like the trading cards, colors for illustration, character designs, and things like that. So I've gotten better in the last year, leveled up a little bit like that.
Oh, that's cool, bro.
But I
Don't say
still
that, bro. This is Don't say.
But
Oh, the
he's
last guy
still.
that said that a few days ago was like trying to scam everybody.
Oh yeah, the AI thing. That's right. It's become a meme now. Hey guys, look, I've leveled up. Here's
I
my
took a
totally not.
month off,
Uh,
and
it's
look at what
totally
I
not
did.
AI, right? Let me ink over it to prove that it's my original art. Yeah, no.
Oh man,
But
it was,
I do my homework. Like I watch a lot of videos by
it's
colorists,
so sad.
and I'm
Okay,
learning
so
the.
that's another question for you, Frederic. How do you work? Are you traditional or
Digital.
digital?
So half and half. I do the black and white stuff traditionally, and just because I like getting away from the screen, like it's like I'm on the
Absolutely.
screens all
Yeah.
the time.
Your eyes will
So
last longer.
yeah, and I love paper. It's the texture,
Mhm.
everything.
So you
Uh,
pencil and ink traditionally, and then everything else.
well, the inking is not so traditional because now I use these Japanese calligraphy pens, which we didn't have when I learned. Like I learned with the 102, 103 Hunt
Right,
quill,
yeah.
and I hated those. I got like tendonitis in my wrist, and it was the death of me. So coming back to drawing comics after a couple of decades of putting it aside, I use kind of more modern tools. So I'll use these calligraphy pens, Tombow pens, which I love. I'm absolutely in love with those.
Okay.
But I still
Yeah.
pencil on, traditional Bristol board.
And I'm
Uh,
assuming they come with a bunch of different like nib sizes and stuff, so you can go.
I have just one that has one standard nib, and
Really?
it does everything
Oh,
I need. I also have like a
that's nice.
Pentel brush, but I rarely use it now. So I have and I also have these the markers,
Hey, RJ.
the
Like
microns
Copic.
and all that. So
Yeah, Micron,
I have
Copic.
those, but I tend to not use them as much as the Tombow. The Tombow is definitely my weapon of choice, and
Nice. Okay.
so, but I color digitally. Coloring still, there's so many like just to be able to mask all your stuff digitally is incredible.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think that digital coloring has? I know you can do out of focus shots with that. You can do lens flares, things like that. Do you think it? I mean, for your book, that it gives it just the right futuristic look than if it was more traditionally colored?
Well, see, my colorist Ross doesn't use any of those modern lens flare effects, and
Yeah,
it looks hand painted. So you
yeah.
see,
So
there's a
that's
lot
what
of
you're kind of going for.
yeah. So it it looks very 90s. I'm always thinking of like young kids. Well, let's say young kids like 10, 12 years old, entry point
Hmm.
into the book. I want kids to be
Yeah.
able, as young as 10, 12, to be able to pick
Yeah.
up the book and have a good time reading it.
And
That's
you want
kind
to
of the
grab them, right? You want them to,
yeah,
they just
yeah,
look at that image and be like, "Oh, I gotta have this book." I mean, that's
yeah.
how I
That's
was when I was a kid. I would see that cover and be like, "I gotta have this."
exactly. It comes from my love of superhero comics from the 90s. That's
Mm,
what most speaks
okay.
to me, and that's what kind of is
Two
driving
quick
me. Like,
questions about the
yep,
character, and if there's anything that's a spoiler, you don't have to answer either one.
sure.
I think one of them has already been answered, but not like
Fully.
exactly what I'm thinking of.
Mhm.
The
So
suspense is
the
killing me.
the kid
I know
comes
it's
out of
killing me
jail and
too.
he's got a ton of money, right? And he goes to look for revenge on these guys that fuck him over.
Yes,
So he basically kind of becomes like a Batman Moon Knight kind of character, right? Using technology to fight
yes,
technology. So
yes.
does he have any kind of superpowers whatsoever? Does
Um,
he like make a suit that like enhances his strength or anything? And
so
again, if it's a spoiler, don't tell.
no, I can mention these. It's very early on in the comic, so it's not a problem to answer. He doesn't have any superpower except maybe he does because when he goes to jail as a young man and going to prison, he's terrified. He's just like living in fear. So he goes to the chapel in the prison and he prays to God to take his fear away. So an angel comes and takes his fear away and he becomes fearless. So that's the only quote unquote supernatural aspect that he has to him.
Kind of a
It's-
daredevil type thing,
I
man
was
without
right,
fear.
just
Yeah,
gonna say
so-
the same
Or
thing,
Green
man,
Lantern?
without fear.
Green
Yeah.
Lantern.
he's called Ratel, and Ratel is
Well, you
just
have to be, right? If you're Green Lantern, you can't have any fear, or your brain won't work.
yeah.
It's all willpower.
And the word Ratel is French for honey badger, and honey
Yeah.
badger is an African animal that has no fear. Like it will attack
And everybody
lions,
knows honey badger
it will attack
just
lions,
kills
elephants.
shit.
Like
It's
it-
tenacious. It's tenacious.
yeah,
Once it,
and it'll
yeah.
get bit by cobras and take a little nap, and it'll be fine in an hour or so.
Yeah, they just wake
So-
right up and they're like, whatever.
So this character is basically called Honey Badger. It's just Honey Badger is such a generic term online now that I thought the French translation was snappier, shorter,
If-
snappier,
if
and it
you-
reflected the French history of the character. as well.
years
Nah,
later, if you get
I
tired of the
love that
character,
because
I have a
it, you know,
great ending for the book. You know,
And
just
then
having
put
bit by
really-
cobras and he dies.
again, holding on to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
traditions
yeah.
of Quebec, you called them Ratel instead of going with the obvious, honey badger.
that
And-
that was the thinking, when I discovered the French word, because I wasn't familiar with the animal in French vocabulary. I
Mhm.
was only familiar with the honey badger term because it became a meme
and all
like,
the
years
like
ago.
honey badger memes and
Yeah,
gifs and things,
yeah.
It,
And
it
it's-
beats
but-
orange koala.
There you
And
go. But
so-
can you imagine if Frederic would have called it that? People would have thought it was a joke book. If you
Almost
call
like
your book
Starlight
Honey
Cats.
Badger, like people would immediately think
Well,
of the memes
and this also speaks to Bitcoiners because a honey badger is the mascot for Bitcoin. So
Oh, really?
It's
Oh,
the
I didn't realize that.
yeah, because Bitcoin always gets attacked, and ever since its inception, because it's taken on the financial industry, it's taken on governments,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh, yeah.
it's just it's just a few lines of code that's taken down the whole financial system of the world. Like
I know.
so it's
People been
by
losing it.
definition, it's the underdog. It's fighting. It's punching upwards. So Bitcoiners have adopted it as its mascot. So for me, it was a
Oh.
no question, no brainer, right? So
That's awesome.
it
Yeah,
just
no,
kind of fits all together
It,
when
it fits
you-
the branding, doesn't it?
And I
The
think I've
image of
heard
it,
you
yeah.
mention that it's like the mascot of Bitcoin, but I didn't exactly know why. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
While Shadow thinks about his next volley of questions, we'll finish.
We're watching
Right.
the wait.
We'll watch the trailer.
Thank you all so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I especially appreciate Frederic Guimont. I'm just going to call him out tonight because I don't know. I want to make everybody else jealous. And also, he's got a great name. Thanks for coming on, everybody.
Frederic Guimont.
I took over.
Okay, that is actually a really cool scene. I
I had a
really
poor
like
guy
that.
on the
That's cool.
show for fucking an hour and 5 minutes.
Damn.
And Rex
That was
hadn't brought
really
up his
cool,
goddamn
Frederic.
comic
Frederick,
book
what
yet
are you
to show
working
the
on
kids.
right now, man?
Who made your trailer, Frederick?
I did. So I used music by Anonymal, which is a Bitcoin band. I met him down in El Salvador last November.
That's
And,
pretty
yeah,
hard rocking. Is that your sort of flavor of music?
sometimes I've got a lot of varied tastes in music, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I just love that music. And he's a Bitcoiner as well. So if you listen to the words, it's a song that's about anti NFTs because NFTs are big scams, you know. So
Mhm.
most people, when they hear, "Oh, you're a Bitcoiner," I too like crypto. It's like, no, no, no. I hate crypto. All cryptos are scams. The only one that has been kind of like immaculate conception is Bitcoin because the creator came, gave it to the world, and he abandoned the project and left it for everyone to participate in it. And all the other cryptos are people who are just copying it because they want to extract your money and rug pull you and get out of town, you know. So
Right.
crypto is a bad word in the Bitcoin space. It tends to refer to people who are scamming people, whereas Bitcoin is digital gold. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, it's like you know, whatever you're talking about. If mathematics has a language, I guess crypto users has a language and terminology. You know, English, of course. History has its own terminology. Art has its own terminology. Sheldon says you have to have some fear, otherwise you walk into traffic, a fire, ocean, etc.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
Is that why
I
I
guess
keep
that's
getting run
comic book
over?
logic, right?
Well, that's one of the dangers as well of his state because that's why he gets on a freaking drone and drives through and flies through the city amongst the skyscrapers. He is a daredevil in the in the real sense
Oh,
of the
like,
word,
I'm trying to think of
and
who that was.
it's going to get him
There
into
was
trouble. You know, he's going to run into a lot of trouble. He's going to get injuries.
who was
You
the
know,
guy that could feel no pain, but he was still human? You remember the story I'm talking about, Frederic?
the feel no pain. I don't. Are you talking about something in real life or a
Well, I
fictional?
mean, it was
I think it may
Deadpool,
have been.
right? In the movies, Deadpool couldn't feel any
Well,
pain.
not before Deadpool though. I'm thinking more of like a movie back in the day. The guy, he was like, he had an
Oh,
actual condition
there
where
was a
he could.
Chuck Connors movie where he went up
That
against
might have been it, where he couldn't feel
yeah,
any
sudden
pain, and he
impact,
like,
or I don't know what it was called. It was he went up
oh,
against this guy
that was
that could not
Charles
feel any
Bronson, not
pain.
Chuck Connor.
Well, what
Charles
I
Bronson.
mean, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway,
I know.
there's also that Russian guy. He didn't seem like that went up against Thomas James Punisher. He didn't seem like he could feel any pain.
Yeah, I don't know what I can't think of the character I'm thinking of.
Dark Man, was it Dark Man?
Dark Man, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he would like fuck himself up like really bad because he couldn't feel anything. You
Yeah.
know? But he had a way to like regrow flesh and shit, which was crazy. So,
Frederic, right before I kick myself so I can reset everything here. I've messed it up here. Carrie's got a question. Frederic, what comic made you want to create your own? Do you have authors or people that inspire your creative journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the comic that inspired me to make this one was actually a comic that really disappointed me. I had put aside comics for a little while, and then I went back into the comic shop one day and I saw a beautifully bound James Bond comic. And it was like a hardcover. It had like a bookmark embedded in it and everything, like a
ooh.
textile bookmark. And I was like, wow, this is going to be a beautiful graphic novel about James Bond. I'm going to have a good time. I bought it. And then I realized, oh, wait, this is the year 2022 or 2023, right?
Mhm.
And this book is as woke as the movies right now. And they had all the horrible, terrible woke tropes inside the book. And it just got my blood boiling. And I was like, oh, this is making me mad now. Uh, and I was like, I put comics aside for the longest time. It's time I get back. Like, I'm not just going to complain that comics suck. I'm going to go and make something of my own. It's the standards. The bar has become so low that anyone can make something that's better than a woke comic book. At least it won't. I might not have years of experience writing, but I can do something that at least it's not going to be filled with propaganda, and I'm not trying to jam my politics down people's throats.
Right.
So it was a book that could disappointed me a lot, that inspired me. But that being said, I mean, my inspirations for comics, it goes back a lot to the 1990s Image crew, right? Before even they were an Image, like my all-time favorite artist is Mark Silvestri, especially during his Wolverine period when he was inked by Dan Green.
Well, Frederic will be covering Mark Silvestri on the 21st on Feature Friday. If you want to come on, I'll send you the
Oh
link.
yeah, send me the link. I'm a
Love Mark
big
Silvestri.
Silvestri fan. I've got his
Oh,
Batman book.
tomorrow is Jim
Jim
Steranko.
Steranko. And yesterday was Jim Steranko's birthday, Shadowhawk. So that's
see
kind of
Frederic
apropos.
immediately pointed over his shoulder. You got Steranko on the wall over there?
No,
Oh,
this is Mark Silvestri's Batman.
Oh, Silvestri. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I've got Mark Silvestri's art book, which is unfortunately a little bit disappointing compared to McFarlane's and other Jim Lee's art books are a little bit better.
I saw a run through of Silvestri's art book, and I was a
Yeah.
little bit disappointed with it.
Me
dude.
too. I still got it because he's my favorite, to be honest. Like
I love Silvestri. His run on the Darkness for Images, fucking just. So
Sheldon's got a question. Fred, where do you see your comic in 5 years? Still crowdfunding in comic shops, in your own comic site, etc.?
Great question. So I do have my own comic site. I would love to make it as accessible as can be, right? I plan to bring it to conferences and conventions and things like that.
Somebody
so
drop Frederick's link in the chat, please.
I could.
Just
And
yeah, and the comment or all the links are down in the description of this video as well.
And so
always do that.
For the meantime, like as the first issues come out, I want to crowdfund it. It's mostly a way to get directly to readers as well, to find my first readers, to get people to be able to read the book, critique it, and build a reputation with the book as well. And hopefully because I've planned a 4-issue arc to begin with. So if everything goes bad, well, I'll finish the 4-issue arc and that will be one thing. And if everything goes well, I'll continue the story along and keep building on it. So, but I wanted to make sure I had at least one arc of 4 issues as a foundation of the book.
Well, Frederick, I will tell you this. Just from what I've seen of you, and which is only recently, probably, I don't know, 90 days, maybe a little longer than that. But I've seen you pop up on Katydids. I've seen you, promoting your book, and you're doing everything the right way. You're letting the crowd get to know you. You're very communicative. You're not shy with folks, and
it comes on camera.
Yeah, and it's only going to help you. I don't come on camera because nobody wants to see this mug Rex. You know that.
Well, I that wasn't a shot at you. It's like before we started this stream, he asked me, "Do you want the art cam on or do you want the cam on me?" And I said, "It's up to you."
Yeah. When I do promos, I figure it's better to see my face. I'm
it
selling
is.
something.
I think people get to know you, like Shadowhawk is saying.
But I love those art streams.
You're not scary looking like I am, Frederick. So
I'm sure you're exaggerating, Shadow.
Not by much, but
but I do love those.
Fall asleep with your face in a frying pan, Frederick.
Have you ever seen Frankenstein? Anyway,
Boris Karloff wasn't bad looking, just saying.
Yeah. Chris Fisk says, I have a face for radio, so I stay off camera.
That's not true, Chris. I've seen your picture yesterday. You're not that bad, man. I think you're over exaggerating. But I do love those art streams, though. I love participating. There's nothing I love more than being able to draw while I'm talking comics with people online. That's such a great, wonderful feeling.
Oh, I've seen it been popping up quite a bit on Omer Glitch's streams.
Yeah,
stuff too.
Omer and I did a stream today. We do a lot of streams. I have my own art stream on Tuesdays as well.
I like Omer. He reminds me of me 20 years ago.
I'll probably do an art stream at 10 my time. Now you're on Eastern time, right? So I may start it at 9 and invite you to that tonight if you want to come on. I'll send you the link. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
And maybe we can watch you in action. How much of the of Ratel is completed? Where are you at on the project?
So it's a 24-page first issue.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is drawn and inked. So it's in the hands of the colorist right now. So
Okay.
I'm just waiting for him to send me the colors. I got a couple of more pages today. He's very creative. He's actually building on the story as a colorist, which I haven't heard of that being a thing in the past. So I'm kind of flabbergasted. And so yeah, I'm waiting for the second portion of the book to be colored. That's why I'm doing the crowdfunding for about 1 more month until December 6th is the final date to be able to crowdfund this first issue. And I'm expecting it to be in the hands of people in March. So in my kind of very vague roundabout calculations for pre-press and printing and distribution, I've expected that March is going to be the date people are going to have it in hand. But I've also started the second issue in terms of writing. So I've written a first draft of the second issue, and I'm going to be going back and revising that a little bit before I get started on the art. But it's also already underway, and I'm just like excited to kind of raise the bar, make the second one even better. The second one's going to have many more pages. The first one I kind of wanted to limit it to 24 because I wanted to have it be done in a certain amount of time, have it in people's hands to start with, and just have it be a real thing as quickly as possible. The second one, I'm taking a little bit more time just to make sure that I have enough space to put everything I need to be in there. So the second one, the first draft is 42 pages. Now, is it going to stay 42 pages? Maybe less, maybe more. I don't know, but that's the first draft so far.
Nice. I do again. Good strategy. You get a quick one out there, like a regular floppy. Get people's eyes on you, and get them interested, and then you hit them with the almost graphic novel. Who knows? Maybe it grows to 48 pages, and then boom, it's comic cake standard. Right.
Not to get too personal, Frederic, but are you being subsidized? How do you do this full time?
No, I'm not subsidized. So I was able to do this full time because, especially in the beginning, I had built another website. It's a character creator, and it had a lot of traffic for the longest time. And I'm getting a little bit of revenue from the advertising on there. So that's kind of like a nice cushion.
Nice.
And I do commissions. That's why my 24 pages took over a year. I'm also doing commissions at the same time. So kind of rounding out the months, doing, covers, turnarounds for characters.
Time is what you make it, though, right, Frederic? I mean, to me, it's like sometimes it's good that it took a year to make. That maybe the story got a little richer, a little better. You give yourself time to think about the dialogue or maybe the inner workings, things you might want to set up in a story.
Absolutely, you got it.
At the same time, you don't want to, overthink it and work it to death.
Yeah, so I had a multiple drafts.
You can't.
I think I had 3 drafts when I started drawing it, and then I was able to do like another 2 drafts of the dialogue and captions. So on top of that, and as you say, you're absolutely right, Rex. I got a lot more character development that was happening in my head as I was drawing it. So as I was, and the first issue is very basic, right? You're talking backstory. You're talking about the first adventure, the maiden flight of the character. So it's not like I'm going out on a limb with the story just yet. So it gives me the foundation already set, and then I was able to dream up all the backstories, and it got me talking to people about the story. And people had a lot of questions that I hadn't asked myself as a writer. I hadn't gone through those questions. So the fact that you put it out there, you let people know what you're working on, they start grilling you with questions, and you're like, okay, well, I got to think of this answer. I don't have an answer for this. Let me think about it. And then it hits you like maybe a couple of days later, you're like, oh, this is why. Oh, this is why. And then things start falling into place. And then you start making connections like, oh, and then you get this moment where, okay, everything's falling into place now. Everything's kind of like flowing down from
it gets easier after a while, after you've established some of the basics.
Yeah, when you got the premise, when you got your characters well defined, it becomes kind of natural to see what they're going to do, where they're going to go, and how it's going to play out. So I've got a basic outline for
I had to
the
think through
story.
this. The art kind of, just looking back on what grabbed me, the art kind of grabbed me first, but the story kept me. To me, it's all about characterization, and beyond that, having good, well-defined characters with personalities. Once you get to the personality stage, and that character becomes more real to you.
Yeah,
Their
and
little
that's-
quirks and that's hard to convey it on a in a magazine as opposed to film.
Yeah, and especially like in 24 pages. I don't know if you know this, but I mean, I'm sure you know this, but I'm talking to people listening out there. It's 24 pages and is not a lot of panels. That's not a lot of place to tell a whole lot of story. So you have to get straight to the point. You have to, be quick to get your, and the characterization is also something I think comes with multiple issues. Like from having read a lot of comics, you get to know characters a lot better with time as well.
You're doing very well for a very first. Of course, I know you've been beating bushes, like Shadowhawk said, going on shows.
Dude, 280% funded. Very nice.
Well, it's actually more than that because I've also got a Bitcoin crowdfunder on the side. So I've got like 1,100 in Bitcoin. So it's 2,500 total is the
And these are like guys that through like doing Bitcoin stuff, and
some of them are people I don't know that I've just been marketing to. So there's this thing.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's this thing called Noster, which is like a Bitcoin Twitter kind of a thing.
Yeah,
And
I have no idea.
Nobody does.
Poutine on the Ritz. I see where he got that from.
Yeah, poutine on the Ritz. That's awesome.
You got to have your own in-world franchises. You can't be putting real restaurants and stuff. So I'm like, let's have fun with this and do my own thing.
That's so funny. Is that an actual restaurant?
No, this is my own in-world franchise that I made up.
The poutine on the Ritz thing. Is that?
No, I know it's made up. There's nothing called that.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
PDF version you can get for $6.25 USD.
Yes. And I've also got stretch goals. So when I pass the first $1,000 mark, I'm giving everyone a trading card, and the second $1,000 mark, which we passed, considering the Bitcoin. So everyone's going to get 2 trading cards as a bonus, including the people who back digital. So even if you just get the PDF, I'm still going to be sending you trading cards as a reward.
Nice.
Well, I think for your next campaign, just put this bug in your ear. If backers pay with Bitcoin, you get a bonus.
Well, there's one thing that's only available in Bitcoin. I have pins of the Ratel logo.
Okay.
And you cannot buy those on Fund My Comic. You can only get those on the Geyser.fund website. So because they're made by a Bitcoin company called BTC Pins. So I wanted to make sure that remains a Bitcoin exclusive.
Yeah.
That's cool. And is it just the Ratel logo, or is it the?
Yes.
Or is it?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's just the Ratel
Very
logo, no text, just the image.
Bro, I love that. Like the way you set up his drone / hoverboard or whatever. That he has
Yeah.
around
I call
him.
it the quad board. Yeah, it's like a
The quadboard,
quadcopter
yeah.
hoverboard.
When he steps off that
Yeah.
thing into the rotor, though, he's going to lose a foot. I'm just saying.
Well,
Right.
you gotta
It's
mind
gonna
your
get noisy around here. I gotta mute for a sec.
Yeah, you gotta be careful where you put your foot down for sure. So it's kind of like riding a skateboard. I've always envisioned him as doing skateboarding and snowboarding as a kid, and so it becomes natural for him to kind of like hop on that thing and fly it around.
If I hopped on that thing, I would again, if you stepped off into one of the rotors, I would want magnetic shoes with that. Does he have magnetic shoes to stay on?
He's got boots.
Balance?
Yeah, he's definitely got sturdy boots.
I know he's got boots, but that's
it's not magnetic. so he's gonna
Yeah.
so he can jump off anytime.
It's got Green Goblin vibes, from the Tobey Maguire movies.
Yeah, that's what people tell me, and
Uh-huh.
I love that. I love that as well. I was actually building my own drones and flying my own drones. Now, not full size like this. Obviously, I had like tiny little drones that you could fly around with a camera and a visor. So that's where ultimately the idea came from. These are all. I just put all the things I loved into one package, Rex.
Yeah.
It's all the
Yeah.
things I was really interested in. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, because if you're going to be spending all your time drawing a comic, you want to be drawing stuff that you really care about. So I'm like, I want to be doing stuff that I just resonates with me. So I just put
You-
everything in one blender. And this is what I
Sheldon
love.
asked you, where do you see your creation and everything going in 5 years? But where do you see the financial thing? Because I mean, you're betting on Bitcoin. You're a Bitcoin owner.
Yeah.
Where do you see? I mean, are we going to do a financial reset, you think? Are they gearing up towards that? I know a lot of the communist countries are wanting to, get off the American standard because that would be disastrous for the whole world, which just creates opportunity for them really to move into where they want to go.
Right.
Or
So
at least in their thinking, we
I
still
don't
have
think,
military
yeah,
superiority.
I think Bitcoin is going to grow and it's going to have a much more important place in our lives than it does now. That being
Yeah.
said, I don't think everyone's going to get on Bitcoin. Like, not everyone can do the digital leap to it. I mean, kids can
Right.
easily. Kids will adapt to it like water on their back. But the thing is, Trump's been talking about a strategic Bitcoin reserve at the federal level, and individual states, like a lot of states, have been putting out bills to have strategic Bitcoin reserves at the state level. So they're going to be competing to acquire Bitcoin at the state and federal level, not even counting other countries are getting to it, not
Yeah.
counting that the
Did the market react to that? I mean, when Trump came out,
oh yeah, when Trump
positive
got
about Bitcoin?
the market reacted when Trump got elected. When Trump got elected,
Yeah.
the price
Oh,
just
yeah.
went through
Oh,
the
yeah.
roof. And then when
Mhm.
he was like, what's the correct term? When he was pronounced president, when he came into office officially, there
Uh-huh.
was another boost. So what I think is going to happen, Rex, is I think, like, as much as we got off the gold standard in 1971, I think the dollar is going to stay, but the dollar is going to go back to being backed by sound fiscal practices. I think the
Yeah.
dollar is going to be eventually backed by Bitcoin and maybe a combination of Bitcoin and gold or something else. But you can't keep going on with this fiat money, because the fiat money,
You can't
it,
print money in perpetuity and have a country. It's going to collapse.
it's yeah, exactly.
Massive inflation,
All
super
these
inflation.
fiat denominations, the longest they've ever lasted is 100 years, and now we're
Yeah.
at that point.
Mhm.
So if you want to save the dollar, you have to return it to being backed by something solid.
Something sound, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
and
know India, China, all these countries, they've been investing in gold, silver, other precious metals.
Yeah.
I think probably our most precious commodity is clean drinking water. But I mean, with the
yeah,
technology
but that's hard to
today,
quantify. You can't quantify that in the same way. It's precious, just like our time is precious, but you can't trade that in the same way.
right? Yeah,
The thing about gold is, I mean, the world
it's
has
been sound for
functioned off of
thousands.
gold. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
accepted at every port. It was the main money to transact in internationally, but it's got its limits. And when you got gold, first of all, people can't keep gold in their homes because you're going to have thieves breaking in and stealing it.
yeah.
And second of all, so you have to hire a lot of security, and when you transport it, so there's a huge overhead cost to gold.
See, Ryan.
The thing about Bitcoin is it's digital gold. It's got all the properties of gold, and you can send it like an email. So
Mhm.
it solves a lot of problems, and you can audit it with just a few keystrokes, and you
All
know
right,
exactly.
let's say we're in Germany and everything's collapsing. You're trying to get out of the country, right? Bitcoin would help you do that, right? Because it
Yep. Yeah.
transcends boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. You can carry Bitcoin in your head. So what that means is, uh, you know how a king used to have a stamp to, like, if
A
you were
signet, yeah, a wax
yeah,
seal
a
or something
signet.
like
So if
that. Yeah.
if the
Mhm.
king wanted to transfer money, he would just write up the
Yeah.
contract and signet. So
Well,
that's
this
how
is
bit
a code. If you forget the code, you die. You don't have it written down. It's lost forever. That Bitcoin.
correct.
It's out there in limbo, just never going to be
Correct.
traded again.
Exactly. So what you have when you have Bitcoin is you have a key. They call it a key, and it's like
Mhm.
a king's signet. So you use that to sign your transaction. If I want to send you Bitcoin today, Rex, I have to sign the transaction, and I need access to my key for that. Now the thing
Mhm.
is, the key can be turned into a mnemonic phrase, like a password, a
Yeah.
series of like 12 words. That's how Ratel keeps his Bitcoin while he's in prison. He memorizes those 12 words. And when he gets out of prison, he goes to a computer, puts those 12 words in, and he can sign his transaction again. He has access to all his Bitcoin. So that's how you can leave Germany and go to another country. It's happening in South America already. People
But
don't,
it does fluctuate like the stock market. It goes the value, like anything, gold and silver, goes up and down. Correct?
yeah, like all currencies are fluctuate. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And this one's even more liquid because it's so accessible that it tends to be the one that drops first, because if there's a financial crisis, you can get money straight immediately from Bitcoin. Is the most liquid. So it's the one that reacts the most to the market. But
Is Bitcoin got about the same value as America because you kind of follow suit in that? And I know it's like when I buy something from the UK, they're on the pound,
Mhm.
and there's a currency transfer. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
currency difference there
yeah.
in the
I
strength
mean,
of the pound and the dollar. Uh,
so the freer the country, the cheaper the Bitcoin. So you get the
mhm.
basis price, like in the US, Canada, the price is very accessible.
So
When you go
less
to
freedom, it's more of a elitist thing.
well, when it's less free, you have to go to underground markets, so you're going to get a premium. You're going to have to pay a
Yeah,
premium
you're going to go
because,
through the middleman.
well, you always have to you have to buy the Bitcoin from someone who has the Bitcoin,
Right.
unless
Okay.
you,
Well, it sounds like you're saying a black market.
yeah. I mean, if it's illegal, if you're living
Oh
under a
yeah, to the
country where it's
country. Yeah.
illegal,
I
so
mean, there are countries where it's illegal to trade in Bitcoin.
sure, yeah, China's made it illegal. I think it still
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
all
Because
that's
they want to
miners.
protect their yen, right?
Well, they don't want the money to leave the country. So Chinese people cannot buy, they can't even buy real estate outside of China. A lot
Right.
of actors have been caught. Like there's a famous actress in China that has been caught buying real estate in France, in Europe, and it's a no-no, right? You can't be doing that. They want to control your wealth
So,
inside the
well,
country.
we've heard a lot in the news about China. You know, we need to stop American property being sold to China. I know that. Is that just the government buying it up, or
Well,
that's
I don't
not
know.
necessarily private individuals? Because you're saying that's illegal.
Well, I don't know the whole strategy behind that. Like we're
Because I know that
international
they were
finances.
buying, there was some concern, you know, militarily because they were buying land close to military sites.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, maybe
I
to
mean
spy, you know, or to be
that's
in a
that
good position.
that's
Yeah,
definitely a strategy, right? We're living in a modern times, and like war
yeah.
is very different than it used to be. Like we're
Well, I mean, I guess government has always been the god of some people, right?
mhm, mhm,
And they
sure,
and once you have that power, you want to retain that power. What we did with the American experience
yeah,
was a vastly different thing. We looked at governments from and writers, philanthropists, and also, you know, pastors around the world and their writings, and we said, okay, this is good. We keep that. This is bad, and we, you know, had the American experience, you know, at the founding of our
yeah,
country. So, which is
yeah.
vastly different, you know.
And I
I mean,
think
they even
Bitcoin is very
go ahead.
close to the American principles. It's about so it's the financial transactions are equal to speech, right? Because since it's all code, it's like speech.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
about freedom, freedom to transact. So it's called electronic cash because there's no middleman.
Yeah.
So people get caught up because it's electronic. They think, oh, it's like the banking system, but they don't understand that there's no middleman. So it's actually electronic cash, which is a concept that's hard for some people to understand. And it's also about sovereignty, because when you hold your keys, no bank can close your Bitcoin. No one can seize it. No government, no military, no crook.
Mhm.
You're the one who has exclusive. Of course, you have to protect your key, but that's not very hard to do. If you're
Yeah.
if you're
It
good
started
practices,
on
right?
Bitcoin started on the stock market, didn't it? Or did it?
No, it's not linked to the stock market. A lot of
It's
people
not linked to
associate
the
it.
stock market.
Not
Okay.
at all. No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But it
mean,
was made available for individuals and not just
oh, you're
corporations to buy.
well, it is now. There's an ETF, what's called an
Mhm.
ETF. So
Okay.
investment funds and retirement funds can now buy Bitcoin through the ETF, but they don't really have real ownership of Bitcoin, because remember when
Right.
I was talking about that Signet thing? They
Well,
don't.
it's kind of like I can have stock in gold, but not the physical gold. So you want
Yeah,
to really to retain your value and make sure you have that value, have that physical
yeah,
gold
because it's
in
like
a
paper
safe
gold.
place, of course. Yeah,
Because when
that
we're
you can
talking about
access.
paper gold, so
Hmm.
if I have an ounce of gold, I can sell you paper gold to you. I can sell paper gold to Shadowhawk. I can sell it paper. So I can sell the same gold to three people, because you're going to be, oh, I'm just going to hold on to my paper until I need it.
Yeah,
And I don't need the real ounce. I'll let Frederic hold on to the ounce and worry about protecting it. And here I am, like a crook, selling the ounce in paper gold to everybody, and I'm making 4, 5, 6, 10 times the amount. That's the problem with gold, and that's the problem with Bitcoin on exchanges. So you want to make sure that when you buy it, you transfer it to a place where you control it with your key, with your signet.
yeah,
That's the idea.
yeah. I mean, accessibility is a big part of it, but yeah, and I would say if you buy physical assets, have proof. I know here, even here in America, have proof of where you bought it from. Like if I bought from a mint an ingot of gold, have that documentation with the gold. That way, the government can't come in and seize it, or they're supposed to not be
Yeah,
able to.
yeah.
They're not supposed to be able to.
Well, in
If
Canada,
you
they
have
can
proof,
see
because if
if
you
you,
don't have the proof right there with it, they can say, "Oh, this is drug money,"
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever,
They
and then
do
they
that in
can just
Canada
seize it,
now.
and you're not getting it back.
No, and if you're walking around with like more than $3,000 or $4,000 in or on you in Canada, they just
Yeah.
say it's an unreasonable amount, and they just seize it for no reason.
Wow. Really? If
Yeah,
you get stopped, detained, and they
yep,
search you,
yep,
and wow.
yeah.
So is
There's a
that
real war on
kickback? Is that
cash.
reported? Is that you think some of that is going to the officers that actually practice that? What the hell?
There's been they that was on the news. So if they're putting it on
Uh-huh.
the news, they want the information to be out. So it's probably like a chilling effect to tell the people, okay, you got to move to
Yeah.
digital. Don't carry paper. And they want to stop. They want to stop cash transactions under $10,000 as well. So there's a real crackdown to that. And at the same time, when you've got your money in the bank, there's the other extreme where they can seize the money that's in your bank. They
Hmm.
can say, well, if you have over $10,000, well, you're not using that money, so the government can have a better use of it than you, and so we're going to just redistribute it because we're the government and we have a better use of the money than you. Like it's insanity. It's complete insanity what's happening. We've seen it in communist regimes. They've been talking about it this week at the European Union as well. They're talking about seizing people's money in their bank as well. So it's a real thing.
Tell us about Ratel.com.
So Ratel.com is my homepage. I've got a little bit of information in the about page on me, about the project. I've got samples where you can see the art. You can
Hmm.
see the same pages that you see on the Fund My Comic. And I've also put a progress page, which is almost at 100%, because I couldn't fathom myself predicting the date I was going to be done with Rex. So I was like, okay, if I put a date down, I'm going to be late 100%.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I figured, okay, let me just put a progress bar and update people. Okay, I've got this many pages penciled, this many pages inked, this many pages lettered. All the process I just put in a progress bar. So that's the progress page. And then I've got a media page where you can find a lot of the shows I did, the links to my Twitter, the Noster I was telling you about, which is like kind of a Bitcoin equivalent of Twitter. And so you've got a lot of interesting links where you can stay in touch with me through there.
Where do you see the state of comics being in the next 5 years?
I
Much
think we're kind of
difference?
like, I'm sure it will be different. I mean, comics
Mhm.
kind of moves slowly as well, so I don't know how fast it's going to move. But I
Yeah.
feel like we're kind of like well. First of all, I don't think the European market is doing bad at all. I think the European market is doing what it always has. The
Uh-huh.
manga is flourishing, especially in the States. Now, the American comic book market is at crisis right now. The distribution system is broken,
Yeah.
and it's like we're at zero. Like it's we are in the absolute bloodbath of
The
comic distribution.
the
So
bankruptcy of Diamond really affected, like, recent news, Dynamite on them
yeah,
over $40 million. They're
and
not getting that money probably. So what does that do to Dynamite, and
yeah,
the people that dealt with Diamond?
but at the same time, the actual artwork that's being made is some of the best comics I've ever seen. Like you have so many good creators. There's so many comics being produced at the same
Mhm.
time. So there's I feel they say that when it's a bloodbath, it's the best time to invest. I think there's the seeds are being planted right now for something that's going to be bigger and brighter. I think the Americans are going to go to something that's more European. We already see it in the comic skate space. Aren't you the one that's doing magazine size, Rex, for
I
your
am.
comic?
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
more European size. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's you've got European size, you've got people going to hardcovers, you have people
Mhm.
taking over a year to build a full graphic novel.
Yeah.
So it's just people are, and I don't think anyone's like willfully copying the Europeans. I think it's just naturally kind of going that way in a natural tendency.
Gravitating to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the end distribution is we already see it in Barnes and Nobles. We see books in Amazon. So
Yeah.
I think comics are going to do the same thing as they have been doing in Europe forever. They're just going,
Away from the floppies, more towards trade paperback or hard
yeah.
annuals like we see in the UK and Europe.
I think it's going towards that. Now, are
Yeah,
there
or a
specialty
larger
shops?
format, larger sort of magazine or golden age format, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
naturally happening. Are the specialty shops going to die out? Hopefully not. I love comic shops. I love that as well. The monthly uh, aspect to it might be broken. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have young artists that are like they have to work until 4 o'clock in the morning to put out monthly books. As much as we want books on a regular schedule, at the same time, we don't want to kill our young talent and
Oh yeah.
work
Yeah.
them into the ground. So that's kind of my general idea is I think we're going towards something that looks more like the
It,
European
it
market.
seems like the main quote mainstream comics is written, pretty much driven off the great
Well,
talents.
yeah, the
I
actual
mean,
production of comics should be fine. It's just it's been
I heard the page rate at like the big two is like $50-$60 a page. That's abysmal.
yeah, it's like it's a fraction of what it used to be, not even
Yeah.
counting that the money that we have today is also a fraction of what it used to be. So it's it's
Not
like
really, not really
there's no
keeping up
financial
with the cost of
incentive.
living. Yeah.
The opposite. They're now telling you, okay, you love comics, you have to make a vow of poverty to live
Yeah.
and do
Yeah.
what you love. So, which is why I think that the strongest people right now are the people who are owning their chain of production. So, people who are doing crowdfunding, dealing straight um, with the printer and the distributor. I think those people are on much more solid footing than people who are, working an hourly or daily rate for the big two right now. So
Hmm.
unless the big two do something drastic to save their ass, so to speak, I don't think they have much of a future. And which is sad because they have a lot of properties that we've grown attached to and we that love dearly, but a lot of the writers in there are woke. They're activists much
Yeah.
more than artists.
Right.
So
Right.
I've I don't have much sympathy for them, unfortunately, at this time. So I'm much more invested in people who are creating their own IPs, the people who are building their own culture for the future is where I'm focusing at. Now, it's much more expensive per book at the moment, but at the same time, you're investing in the future of your culture. You're getting things that come from the heart. You're supporting artists who are building a better world for tomorrow in terms of the comic book art form.
Sheldon says, I like what Peter Samedi and Zaid Comics are doing by printing their own comics. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we need to be more self-sufficient, don't we?
Yeah. And Ratel's going to be printed by Peter Samedi.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to be in newsprint then, I guess?
Correct. Yeah. It's going to be newsprint.
Yeah. I don't think that's a necessarily bad thing. I supported him. I'm going to be printing something through him.
Yeah.
Maybe the Midnight Stories, but
I love the touch and feel of newsprint. I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful. All my newsprint comics, I love them. And when things are too glossy and too bright and just too plasticky, it for me it loses something. I love.
Yeah, I don't like that. Even in reviews, when you look at the slick stock, back in the day, it used to bubble up on some pages. You'd almost have to look through the whole book to make sure it wasn't like substandard on the printing. You get home and you'd start reading it, and maybe pages would be stuck together. Because when you're at the comic shop and you're buying an item, you want to get it and go, and then you get home and the quality is not what you thought it was. You got a damaged book, which with comics, it's very condition sensitive, right? It's a collectible, unfortunately.
Yeah,
100%. To some people. And not
it is. I mean,
book.
Especially the first printings and things like that. And we're doing like small prints, so that's going to be those few that take off and get a lot of success. Well, those limited prints are going to be very limited. It's going to be scarce.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've said that for a long time, Frederic, that even Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog, which is probably doing more numbers than any other book out there, although there are some like Billy Tucci and others. I don't know what their print runs are, but, even if they do 20, 30,000, that's a small run compared to the rest of comicdom. I heard Amazing Spider-Man slid below even 60,000 at one point, and that was cancellation numbers when I was growing up. In comics. So I don't know that we're in that great a healthy state, but I do think that creator-owned, like your and I, Devil Flyer and other properties, and Glitch, if Homer will ever get his book out, is sort of like
I'm whacking him in the back of the head every day, Rex, telling him, "Come on, get something."
He says you'll do fan art, but you won't do anybody else's thing. I mean,
and he's got.
You won't.
He was showing me today. He was showing me on stream. He's got 3 portfolios, and we're talking 24-page portfolios. He's got 3 portfolios of Glitch comic art.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
Yeah. If I had that back stock, I'd already had it out there.
I'm like, get started. Start your crowdfunding. I'm gonna, kick you in the rear until you get into high gear.
He busts me over not drawing anything except my own stuff, and I bust him on drawing everything but his own stuff. So we get along good. We're kind of like yin and yang.
I love him. I'm looking forward to.
What do you want people to know about Ratel? What is the overall arcing message? What's the number one thing you want to get across? And are you going to continue with that same IP in the future and build on that? Or do you have plans for other things?
I don't have other plans. I'm committing to a 4-issue arc because I wanted to make sure that I don't want to make promises I can't keep.
Yeah.
So, because in my heart, I want it to be an unlimited series, right? I want to keep doing this until I croak, but I can't make that type of promise to everybody out there and expect, things to just magically work out perfectly. That's why I kind of broke it down to, okay, I'm starting with a 4-issue arc. How many pages those issues are going to have, that's going to vary. But I
Mhm.
wanted to, okay, let's start with this and see how it goes. And once we're done with the 4-issue arc, I'll do another arc, and we'll see however
I think
much I
that's very
feel.
smart. I mean, the other day we were kind of focusing on some of the limited series that came out in 1995, like The Punisher and
Yeah,
Cloak and Dagger. You know, they all got
yeah,
like 2, 3, 4-issue, 6-issue, and then there was the maxi series that came out with Camelot 3000, where you had like a whole year long 12-issue series. Now that's
yeah,
monthly. Again, in crowdfunding, you kind of have to redefine the cliffhanger, don't you? They kind of have to be one and done stories with strings to setting
yeah,
up your next
yeah.
story.
And I've got a little cliffhanger at the end of the first issue. The first issue, it ends well. Like there's a good resolution, but
Hmm.
it also gives you something. There's still a looming danger. You gotta tune in for next issue. But at the same time, you feel that what happened within the first issue is resolved within the first issue. So you still, I think, get a satisfying read with the first one.
Hmm.
And it's got a backstory origin of the character, as well as half of the book is meet the villains and here's a kung fu scene and some action. So you're asking me, what do I want people to kind of get from the first issue of Ratel?
Hmm.
It's really very much a superhero story. That's what I grew
Yeah.
up loving, and it's action filled, it's superhero. There's a sense of yearning of justice. There's a cast of characters, and there's going to be an intrigue for his identity and all that. So as much as superhero movies are kind of tired out, I think, going back to basics with good superhero tropes and values, I think they're timeless, and that's what has got my attention. And
It's a
that's what I'm,
satisfying read. That's what I'm hearing.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
People,
With more to come. Yeah.
my beta readers have told me that it's got great pacing, so it reads well. It's a good pacing. I've got a lot of Easter eggs as well in there. I think it's something that you're going to enjoy reading more than once.
Well, within crowdfunding, I want to touch back to what you just said about superheroes. Yes, I think that's the cornerstone, at least here in the West. When you get to the European market, I think the genres can vary wildly,
Oh yeah,
But I think for the crowdfunding scene, I think I've seen others run even classics, like Moby Dick. Let's just throw that out there. There's
yep,
something like that, Check on Hunt story. And I've seen them do classics and other stuff. But yet when they did superhero, bam, their numbers went up, on
really.
the crowdfunding. Yeah,
Okay.
I think people like the different genres, but I think people do want, even with the Marvel movies sort of in fatigue, I
Yeah,
think people still want a good superhero story, a good role model to look at.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I fell in love with. Like, I grew up with European comics, so I'm always going to
Hmm.
love them. But they've been, to be honest, the panel layouts, the camera angles, they're kind of
Hmm.
boring, Rex. They're kind of very,
Right.
you know, television or made for TV
And when I
kind of.
look at some master like John Buscema, how to draw the Marvel way, I don't see that. He's very cinematic
Yeah,
with
and if you
his
look at,
different angles, his views. He can. I've got a bunch of originals by him. In fact, my next book is
wow,
going to be the unseen artwork of John Buscema
oh,
that I'm
dude,
doing with a friend.
that's going to
And
be awesome.
after Devil Flower comes out, we're going to do the Buscema book. And
Nice.
I mean, I'm amazed at just how he can lay down in a few gestorial lines the different angles, characters,
Yeah,
and the pacing.
yeah.
It's
That's
amazing.
the thing. That's why I fell in love with American comics is they break all the rules, right? They're constantly playing around. I'm thinking of people like Todd McFarlane who would just
Yeah,
disregard anatomy to give you the most exciting view of Spider-Man, right?
that's
You're gonna
true.
see,
Yeah, kind of audacious with
yeah,
yeah.
audacious. Jim Lee,
Mhm.
give you like overly heroic positions that you
See,
cannot
I would
stand with your.
say that right the opposite. That the European, when I look at Morbius, I look at his stuff and others. They kind of break. They go where we don't go in comics. I guess it's just the difference in
Yeah.
perspective.
Well, the Europeans have a wider range of subject matter of
Hmm.
genres. They break,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's like reading. It's visual novels, literally. Like they're. It's like if you go read novels, you have novels. You have novels on all types of subject matter, right?
Right,
And
right.
when you go read comics, it's almost all superheroes, right? There's
Yeah, I
not as
think we
much
need to be
variety.
propagating some more readers. We need more readers, Frederick. You
Well,
know,
yeah, there used
we're
there's
we're in the great information age. This is like uh, a windfall for information. Knowledge has never been at our fingertips for the individual like it has been in the last few decades. And since the internet's been up, and there's talk about governments regulating the internet, and some governments do. But yeah, we've got all this information. Are we using it, to our advantage?
yeah,
That's what I worry that we're not. And one reason is we're kind of illiterate as a society, or
but I
becoming
mean,
illiterate.
at the same time, I see the seeds are there. Like when you look at
Yeah,
indie comics online, the crowdfunding projects, a lot of
yeah,
them are not comic, not superheroes. A lot of them are in horror. A lot of them are in
right.
fantasy. You got westerns. You've
Yeah,
got
westerns
the
have come
whole,
back.
the whole gamut. And I think people have always wanted those, but the Comics Code Authority prevented a lot of talent from working in these stories by putting restrictions on violence, restrictions on subject matter. There used to be
Absolutely.
even romance comics were a thing,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
and
mean
that
Jack
would,
Kirby and Joe Simon came up with that in 1947, a new genre, you
yeah,
know.
and that would
Uh
bring in female readers. You're doubling your readership at that point, right? So these are things that we kind of lost, and we need
and
to.
bringing
And
in characters like Supergirl.
yeah, Supergirl is just subject matter
Mhm.
that's non
Yeah, for
superhero. Like,
girls. I mean,
yeah,
that aspect of it. Yeah.
sure, yeah,
Or
romances.
back in the 80s, like strong female figures like I can remember when X-Men had an all-woman led team, where you had Storm and
Well, you have
Phoenix and
Manera, who is a European artist who did a title
mhm.
called X Women with Chris Claremont.
Oh,
And if you haven't seen that one, Rex, grab it. It's a beautiful, beautiful comic. It focuses on the women of the X-Men. It's called X Women, and it's drawn by a European artist who's used to drawing very beautiful babes. So it's a fantastic piece of artwork that feels European, and it's got the X-Men in it. So it's absolutely, it's one of my most prized possessions as a comic. It's not overly expensive either. You can get it at a reasonable price, and it's a great read.
yeah, I Claremont, I mean, why I could see why they would want to go in a different direction with X-Men, but I mean, he had probably the longest run as a writer, over 20 years on the title.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I wasn't in the room with them when they made that decision. I can't say if that was a good decision or a bad decision. But yeah, I do think the fresher side of comics is in the independents right now. And I
Oh,
think the independence has always been a great indicator of the health of the comic book industry overall.
oh, interesting.
The smaller creator. It's kind of like in business, your small businesses are probably a better indicator than the large corporations on how business is actually going.
Oh, fascinating. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you want to know what's happening in the larger ponds, look at the smaller ponds,
Yeah,
around it,
yeah.
the creators, and how
And
healthy a market is that. And I think the future is in our hands.
100%. There's going to be some breakout talent like Mark Millar. There's going to be some talent that, goes beyond the indie space, and their books are going to be in Barnes and Noble. They're going to be in
Oh
Amazon.
yeah,
There's going to be film
that's
and
what we're gonna
television
do with the Devil Flyer.
adaptations.
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
yeah,
So it's already there. Like everything's kind of accessible. It's just comics takes a long time to create, build, and especially distribute. It's hard to get the word out there. That's
yeah.
the irony is we have access to everyone, but we're at the same time flooded by information. So we're all fighting for attention.
Yeah, it's
So
a daunting task, but I wish there was more unity out there than divisionism within the hobby.
yeah,
I think we need to come together right now, and push forward, for creator rights, for better situations, better pay, whatever. I mean, and create some good stuff. Use our imaginations and creativity. We are the generation that needs to be heard. That's the way I see it.
yeah.
Till they
And
put me
why
throw
not
dirt in
own
my
your own?
face.
Why not own your own book? Why not own
Your
your
own
own
IP,
IP?
right? And that again is uniquely sort of capitalism in its greatest. Where you benefit most from your labor.
Exactly. I think that
Instead of the old sweatshop, $5 a page, you know, thing that we began with. We've come a long way, and I think there's a long way to go, but I think we can,
yeah.
overcome it.
I mean,
Through
we're
time.
taking over the world, Rex, one comic page at a time.
There we
That's
go. And if I capture one reader, I've had more than one person tell me your comic was the first comic I ever got. That is a great feeling.
that's
That is a
awesome. Yeah,
great feeling and very humbling that somebody's first comic they ever got and were ever interested in to buy was mine. That's
yeah,
I could conquer the world with that. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Just fuel for fire. Well, Frederic, thanks for coming on. I hope that you will come back for the draw stream at 9 tonight. I will
Yeah,
make
I
sure
think
to get
so.
the
I
link.
think Omer's got a draw stream as well, but send me the link. I'll
Okay.
try to hop on
Yeah,
both.
he's streaming every day like I am.
And
He certainly is.
he's a machine, and I'm starting to
He
do
is
that
a
as well.
machine.
Like I've been doing, like, I was gonna call them morning, but it's more like afternoon draw streams as
Well, like
well. So
Shadowhawk said, you're getting out there, you're being seen, and that's a good thing.
yeah, and that's
You
I
know,
mean, YouTube is now a comic book skill. It's like it's part of the
yeah,
it's part of
yeah.
the
I
like
don't think it's going to be going away anytime soon.
not anytime soon. I mean, it's always been about communicating. You're being able to communicate has always given you a leg up. There was a time
Yeah,
where you could just draw and be in your basement and draw, and people were going to take care of everything else. But even those
sure.
times, the artist would get taken advantage of because they had no
Hmm.
communication skills outside. They had no, if we have access to our fans, if our fans follow us, then we have more power as creators, as artists, than being just a pencil in a basement somewhere. So it's essential that we can communicate and get out there and reach people. So it's part of being an artist in modern times for sure.
One last question: why fund my comic with Ratel?
Good question. Fund my comic. First of all, Luke Stone has been very like he's protected people's rights. He's got the lowest percentage that he's taken from projects as well, 1% versus the others that are higher. So it just made a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. Now it's not perfect. It doesn't have everything. Indiegogo manages mailing lists very well. That seems to be a good thing. But then again, they just changed the whole appearance of the site. But yeah, my trust in Luke Stone, the fact that you can get a payout regularly instead of waiting for the end of the project, and that they have the
Absolutely. Yeah.
lowest percentage take. Those are
Mhm.
kind of the three major reasons that I went with FMC. And I've also got Geyser.fund on the side to raise Bitcoin, and having those two in parallel has been like very enlightening and enriched the project greatly, I think.
Well, Frederic, professional artist, comic book creator, does it full time, to my knowledge.
I try to. I
Thank
mean, I still
Say
have
the
to work on
magic
my
words.
I have to work on
Say
my
the magic words.
procrastination, but I try to
Well,
as
yeah,
much
we
time as
all
I
have to
can.
deal with that. Say the magic words, keep collecting, and we will get out of here.
Yeah, keep collecting, folks.